Well, thank you. And on Monday, April 27, 2026, 7 p.m., meeting called to order at 7 o'clock of the Planning and Zoning Commission. We will do now the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. If you got your phones or anything, I would greatly appreciate it if you put it on silent mode or shut them off, please. All right, I'm going to call to order, and when I call any member or anything, please say present. Dan Bennett. Present. Russ Robin. Here. Jane Salsey.
Here.
Ray Williams.
Yeah.
Brian Santo. Oh. Kaiser Levesque.
Here. Sorry.
Mike Kruger.
Here.
Joseph Brody Brown is not here, not present. Steve Nickerson.
Present.
Scott Lapworth.
Here.
Kara Pengetski.
Here.
Cindy Dunn.
Here.
And Dan Malo.
Here.
Steve, since you're a new member, you have a choice here. You are actually the first one of the alternate in order.
Scott.
Scott, I'm sorry. So you have a choice if you want to sit in as a full member for tonight for Brian Santos. If not, I'll have to pass it on.
If you need me,
Well, the thing is that, yes, we need to fill a seat. We have one regular member, he won't be here tonight. So I'm giving you a choice because you just showed up tonight and I didn't know if you're gonna feel comfortable to sit in and help make decisions here, because it's up to you.
sure.
You want to sit in as a regular for them, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, you might as well jump right into the pool.
All right.
Okay, so Scott Lapworth is filling in
Might be a little
for
help.
Brian. Welcome aboard. Thank you for finally getting your thing done and everything.
You're
So
welcome.
you could sit, because if you didn't, you'll be over there. All right, next thing on the agenda is I'm gonna read, where is it? Okay. I did the roll call a little bit ahead of it, but the chairman's statement on the citizen comments, please state your name and address. Speakers are allotted 3 minutes speaking time unless otherwise directed by the chair. Please address comments through the chair in a civil and respectful manner. All right, we're gonna go on to, I need to make have a motion made to change the agenda, because we just had, Cindy, you want to explain our agenda?
We have 3 Mylars that came in and they'd like to be signed tonight. So I know 2 can be signed and 1 will have to make a decision with my report on it, which I'll give to you when we get there.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll second. I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Jane. I'll second. Second by Mike. What I'm gonna do tonight, if we need to take a roll call, I will do a roll call, but on the majority of this stuff, if we can just do yay, nay, so we can move right along. So all in favor to add the signing of the Mylar that's in, where is it? Agenda 11.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun.
Jumping. Okay, all right, I'll start with, everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Hearing none? It passed. So it'll be.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh boy, that's my law. Let me know when you're ready.
What's the bells? Am I the only one who checked? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We have number 3, public hearing. Application PZC 2603, applicant Munford Construction, Gregory Munford, 437 Portic Road, map 145, lot 14, lot 5, zone RRAD, 3.92 acreage. Request to subdivide property into 4 lots according to subdivision regulation, Article 3.
That's in the view. That should be okay.
What was that?
I can pull it up on the
Yep.
screen too. Just give me a minute to find it here. What's that?
Need a motion to make it for open to.
Well, it's already open.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You, that's what happens. when you have
That's
time.
okay.
Okay, you may go, Miss Terry.
All right, thank you. So my name is Terry Gentis. We were here last month, but I'm just the engineer for those of you who worked here. And I'm representing Gregory Mountford, the applicant, Mountford Construction. And I think she'll pull it up here as well. It's a small subdivision, 4-lot subdivision, but there is an existing house on the, see, you should get
all right.
your head around there, but there's an existing house on the parcel. The house, unfortunately, it's set by the roadway. Was in bad shape when Greg purchased the parcel. It has been kind of left for a while between the previous owner entering into the assisted living and such. Yeah.
This, Terry, no, just, you need to stand back so the people in the audience can see the picture.
Sure.
And just go back a couple feet that way is, so I just looked up to see,
Okay.
because we're finally getting the hang of this thing.
Okay. Alrighty.
No, I appreciate it, thank you.
No problem. So as I was saying, the existing house on the parcel is unfortunately in poor shape. He had looked into saving the house and restoring, and unfortunately due to zoning issues and just structural issues as well, he decided that it's just too far gone to save. So he's going to be reconstructing that house further back on the parcel where it will meet current zoning requirements, and then putting in a shared driveway for 3 additional lots, each which meet zoning requirements. They'll be serviced by a shared driveway, and septic systems and private wells. There's no public roadway, so really the impacts to public services are minimal. With this project, we have decent water tables. There are no wetlands on the parcel itself. Wetlands are located off-site. The abutters were courteous enough to allow us to flag the wetlands on their property. So that was the Wyndham Land Trust. We were able to flag the wetlands. Sorry, I'm
No, that's
doing
okay.
it again. I gotta look at my own.
It'll take a while to get used to.
So, just have to keep looking at my own map of it. Yeah, so we flagged the wetlands off-site. That allowed us to kind of offset that, find out where the sensitive resources were off-site. We offsetted that line, and we were able to keep our dwellings, our septic systems, and our stormwater features away from where we could, the most sensitive resources. We have, for the most part, we have pretty deep water tables, about 5 feet. And so there is a sensitive wetland in the rear of the property, and that has a 200-foot buffer. And that was discussed at length at the last meeting. And to the east of the property is 5 Mile River as it comes, discharges off Aquatic Reservoir, and that has a 100-foot buffer. So we provided 20% open space through a conservation easement. And I guess where we left off at the last meeting is that one of the neighbors had requested the possibility of accessing the lower pond, which is shown here. Which he has been doing for years. And he's been a really good steward of the land. But unfortunately, our land does not touch the lower pond. So we made a request to the Wyndham Land Trust, and they do not want to allow access from our parcel to the lower pond. So that's where that was left. We really kind of think it's a shame, but there's not much more we can do beyond that.
My question to you, Ms. Terry, is that, did they give you a letter on that saying that that's officially what they want, that no access?
I think there's some representatives here tonight.
We have the conservation easement right in here, so
Okay.
anything that was addressed in the minutes, which I gave you a copy of the minutes so that you refresh your memory. And the conservation easement is here and it was approved by everybody, by wetlands, basically, that's who had approved.
Okay, so, all right.
Well, conservation, I take that back, conservation, commission.
It was Conservation Commission as well, does not want us to alter what
Okay.
they have approved.
All right.
So that is their recommendation to you, is to not alter what they had,
What they have.
what they have.
Okay. Is there any questions? Do you have any questions? I'll think I'd say it before we close the public hearing.
Well, you want to let them go first?
I'm from the Wyndham Land Trust.
Okay, go ahead, speak up, to stand up within 5 feet of the thing and actually.
I have
stand is pretty
some
good.
prepared remarks, but I have a question.
You
Conservation
need-
easement.
I need your name.
Oh, Michael St. Lawrence, 78 Buck Hill Road. Been living there for 40 years.
Okay, you didn't have to give the 40, but.
41. Anyway, conservation easement. This is the first time I've heard of this. It abuts the Wyndham Land Trust property as well.
Yeah. First thing, we've heard of.
Well, at one point, the town was trying to get us to take this easement, and we said no. So who's holding the easement?
The town,
The town's gonna hold it. So
The town is-
the town has to enforce the easement then,
yes,
okay? And it's along this boundary.
yeah, it's shown in green.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, sir?
I had a few comments, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll allow your comments because it's part of this situation, otherwise I don't think wouldn't be that appropriate for you to do it in citizen comments, but we're on this subject, so.
Oh, I can wait till citizens' comments if they're.
It's a public hearing.
It's a
That's
public
what-
hearing, go ahead.
So you can make the comments, what I'm trying to say.
All right, do I have to stand there or here?
No, right where you are is fine.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. I'm the president of the Wyndham Land Trust, also a Thompson resident. Jeff Stefanik is on the board of the Wyndham Land Trust. He's also a Thompson resident. The land trust is not against development. We never have been, and we never will be. We understand the towns need to grow. There's a question is how, right? And so I went and looked at your RAD zoning regulations to familiarize myself, and the stated intent, correct me if I'm wrong, is residential housing in support of agricultural and rural businesses while protecting the natural resources of the town. I think doing something like that and not protecting the sensitive wetlands, which somebody else mentioned earlier, which we own, is not appropriate for this development. The reason I say that is it's certainly not helping agriculture, certainly not helping rural businesses, while it is threatening probably what I consider one of the most valuable natural resources in this town. The 287 acres of wetlands that starts from Aquatic Road all the way down to Putnam is extremely valuable. It's pristine. It's recognized by the state, by the federal government. And the reason it's at risk is not because of this engineering design. The reason it's at risk is the one opening to get to this wetlands abuts that field. It's the only one. We have all the rest of them. And we can't stop it. In fact, Mr. Mumford was caught cutting brush to gain better access to that point. It's a very viable entry point to 5 Mile River, which gets you to the wetlands. So with that in mind, you know, if there's one house here, we could deal with it. Because you just go up and introduce yourself, try to engage the resident, try to get them to be stewards, get them, part of the process, and we can protect it that way. But with 4 houses, there's no chance, none. And not to mention, houses are permanent. 4 houses become 40 houses, or 40 families, 50 families, because it goes on forever. So I ask you to consider that risk and the intent that the town has stated when approving this or not approving this. Lastly, I request that if you do approve it, that the Wyndham Land Trust be given access somehow to our property in some form so that we can build and maintain an encroachment resistant fence. You have to put a fence all along this perimeter to prevent or at least inhibit people from accessing this wetlands. Otherwise, we have no protection at all.
So you're talking right down here in the corner here, behind that gentleman's property that owns the house.
Yeah, we do not have any frontage on Aquatic Road.
No, but if you put your finger right about
Here?
come down. No, there you go. Then it goes all the way up. And then behind that is what you were just saying about
A fencing. Yeah.
fencing.
Right. Normally, we wouldn't put a fence there. We have never had a fence there because you want wildlife to go in and out. But with 4 houses, wildlife's not going anywhere anyway. Anything to add?
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, my name is Jeff Stebanik. I'm a Thompson resident. I'm also a land surveyor. I want to make it clear, the Wyndham Land Trust never granted an easement to anyone at Lower Pond. And we've removed the dock from Lower Pond. That's what we're very concerned with, people putting docks or tying boats up on our property. And us getting the burden of having to monitor that. So we're asking the board to consider the negative effect of 4 houses out there in that pristine, beautiful habitat. Thanks.
Anything else? Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
So go ahead, somebody else have their hand up here.
No, I was just gonna ask if you wanted me to read the land use staff correspondence into the record.
Go ahead, please.
And this was put together after the last meeting, 18th of March, 2026, to the Thompson Planning and Zoning Commission, John B. Lanky, Chairman, regarding PZC 26-03, applicant Munford Construction, Gregory Munford, conservation easement for 4-lot subdivision. Dear Chairman Lanky and Commissioners, following the discussion of the special meeting on 16th of March, the land use staff and I have conferred as to the appropriateness of requests made to modify the conditions of the conservation easement, recommendations for which were forwarded to the PZC by Wetlands Conservation Agent Margaret Washburn on behalf of those commissions. As the department head for the land use offices, I am providing this recommendation for you on behalf of our combined staff. During the meeting on the 16th of March, an abutter asserted that he had been granted some form of permission from the Wyndham Land Trust to fish and maintain a small boat on their preserve, and that he has been in the habit of mowing the path for that access. Other public commenters referred to nearby property owners who had been accustomed to crossing the property at 437 Aquatic Road and entering the Wyndham Land Trust property while it was used as a cornfield, and since that time while it has been unused. The request from the attending abutter, Mr. Elliott, was that his access to the preserve should be granted as a condition of the conservation easement. We believe that this modification is inappropriate based on the following factors. The Wyndham Land Trust has communicated that they wish to restrict public access to their property due to the sensitive nature of the ecology in this area. This is supported by the correspondence from CT Deep, which was forwarded to the Commission alongside the conservation easement language. It would be inappropriate for the applicant to agree to provide easement to a neighboring property which he does not own and whose owners have indicated their intent to restrict access. The Conservation Commission, in their correspondence recommending the conditions for the conservation easement, similarly states that the purpose of this easement is for protection of this sensitive ecology, not for public access. The area over which Mr. Elliott has requested access easement is specifically recommended to be allowed to naturally revegetate to protect the river from encroachment. To grant the access easement would contradict the protective purpose of the recommended conservation easement. We acknowledge that there is some inconsistency with Wyndham Land Trust's stated desire to restrict public access and their own signage. See the accompanying photo of a Wyndham Land Trust landmarker on the parcel adjacent to Mr. Munford's property. It is reasonable for Mr. Elliott to conclude that the area is open for public enjoyment based on this signage. However, it is not the applicant's responsibility to provide the pathway to access his neighbor's land, particularly if the neighbor is not amenable. The fact that some neighborhood residents may have traversed the applicant's property in the past while it was unoccupied does not negate the property rights of the new owner to restrict future access. If a legal easement had previously been recorded on the land records, that would be a separate issue, but no evidence of such legal easement has been presented. The applicant has produced a legal application and site plan according to the Town of Thompson zoning regulations, wetland regulations, and subdivision regulations. He has made accommodations for the 20% open space requirement for his proposed subdivision by agreeing to the recommendations of the Conservation Commission for the conservation easement to be recorded on the deeds of the lots to be created. The land use staff of the Town of Thompson strongly recommend that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the conservation easement conditions as recommended by the Conservation Commission without modification. Sincerely, Tara Penn-Gessick, Director of Planning and Development, Margaret Washburn, Conservation Agent and Wetlands Officer, Cindy Dunn, Zoning Enforcement Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Go ahead, Ray, then you, Jane.
I just want to make a comment about the map that was in our packet. It doesn't match the plans, the new plans that was redone, that you have now. So I just want to make sure that, you know, it's not being done to this plan because you have a new plan done.
I just blew it up so you could see the area a little better.
Right, but on this one here, you had a shared driveway at 4. That this was before it was redone. I just want to make sure that this is taken out of the records for the town hall.
But you do have the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the wrong map in our packet.
Well,
Not you guys.
actually, you were supposed to go back to the map that you had last month.
I do have it, but this is what came in our packet
Right.
this morning.
No, I understand that. Yeah. A lot of paperwork.
Yeah. Just if I could say a couple things. Right now, there's 3 or 4 different pathways coming through the field that have been here for years, that people have been accessing through Mr. Malford's property. Not just Mr. Elliott, but coming through all different directions. So there's been at least 3 or 4 families already accessing this pathway.
To illustrate.
There's a path coming through here.
Thank you.
You can
Thank
see it.
you.
There's a path coming through here that originates over here at the trailer. at the neighbors right here. And then the pathway that Mr. Elliott wanted to continue to maintain is running right along here.
Yes, that's the gentleman that was here last month.
Yes. So, so people have been using this. There's different canoes down there. So it by saying just keep it as is and don't develop it doesn't mean that there's not going to be people down there using it. That doesn't protect that. In my opinion, that's not going to keep people out of there. What might keep people out of there is by providing this conservation easement and doing exactly what we're proposing. We are.
So the light green, the three areas up top that are separated, but they're light green up top on the property. Those three are gonna be.
That will be the conservation
Okay,
easement.
and then you're gonna have the strip coming down along the property line down to, I believe it would be Mr. Elliott's house
Yes.
or property?
Yeah.
Okay,
And the other thing is, if you do walk down there, it's clean and there's not too many little fishing spots you go to. That, you know, I go out and I've been out there 4 or 5 times and there's not trash. And I would say that's Keith.
Yes, it is.
That's out there picking it up, making sure there's not fishing line, making sure there's not trash. Because I don't think the other people that go out there do that. But I have a feeling it's Keith that's making sure there's no trash and making sure there's no fishing line. So I think it's kind of a shame that we're cutting off the one person that's probably is the steward of the area.
Couldn't someone access that by going right up the 5 Mile River?
Right, and that's the other thing.
I believe I had
Yes.
years ago, coming from Putnam, I went up at the very narrow and under branches and stuff in some spots, but I think you can go right up into that pond.
Yes.
From the 5 Mile River.
During the summer.
Yeah, beautiful little area, very,
We used to park at Rawson's Manufacturing and they used to let me park there and put a canoe right there, and we used to go down the river, just walk the river back up. That was the only, and I brought that up at the last meeting. It was, the only actual way to get into that pond. Without crossing that property, whoever owned it, or the banker that owned
Continue to
it.
do that. I mean, unless I suppose police are patrolling the roadway and making sure that no one is parking there. There's gonna be people putting in canoes and
I
kayaks
see you,
and going
Mr.
down the
Elliott.
river.
Hang on, I got 2 people in front of you.
So I really don't see how limiting Greg from building is,
Cause right now I'm looking at
yeah,
the
I-
driveway you got. It looks like a T-bone. You go along and then it goes to the 2. And then the house on this side, as we're facing is left, would be part of the shared driveway. Correct? Not, those 2 and that one are part of the shared driveway, but the house
Yes, and
on the
this-
right has its own driveway.
yeah,
So in all reality, you only got 3 houses on one,
yeah.
on a shared driveway.
It's a circular driveway now, so we'll use one leg of the circular driveway for the new, we're not even creating any new access points. We'll use one leg of the shared driveway for the new, one leg of the existing circle for the new shared driveway, and the other leg will become the driveway for the existing.
Three on one and one is still by itself, no
Yeah.
matter how you look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
Shows it on the next map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to get it in there.
Yeah. So,
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to make it clear that the Wyndham Land Trust welcomes the public to our properties, and we want the public. We own this property for all of us to use. So there's no question about going to the property. Our concern is people putting a dock in or tying their boats permanently to the shoreline from the houses that are going to be next to it. We own approximately 100 feet from the new house lot boundaries. It'd be a very difficult thing to monitor encroachments like that. And I think it lends itself to people making themselves at home. That's the kind of thing we want to prevent. We don't mind people going to our property at all. We encourage it. That's why we're here. So I just want to make that clear to everyone.
Is it you?
The gentleman.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Elliott. I thought Jane.
But I'm waiting.
Jane, you
No,
still
it's
put your
okay.
hand up. Go
I
ahead,
did.
Mr. Elliott.
Okay, I just want to clarify a few things. I've been at this property, bought this house 10 years ago. And when I bought it, I didn't even know that that pond existed. No idea. I walked back there one day and I said, wow, look at this beautiful pond. And there's boats back here in the woods. I said, well, then maybe I can put a boat back there too. And Richard Barker, who was the owner at the time, I asked him, I said, would it be okay if I bought a rowboat back here and left it in the woods? He said, fine, go right ahead, no problem. So I didn't know anything about the Wyndham Land Trust at that time. But a couple years later, the people that lived next door to Richard's property in a trailer, bunch of kids, 16, 18-year-old kids, went back in those woods and were cutting down the trees. I don't know when the land trust is aware of this. Okay, they were cutting down the trees, and I went back there one day to go fishing and saw some trees were cut. And I contacted the Wyndham Land Trust and I said, there are some people back here that are cutting down trees, and I know that's not allowed. I said, I come back here on a regular basis. I have a boat tied to a tree. I come back here on a regular basis, and I keep the trash under control. If there's any beer bottles, beer cans laying around, I clean it up. But this is different. This is people cutting down some trees. And whoever I spoke to at the Wyndham Land Trust, I don't know who it was, whoever answered the phone. And he said, well, I appreciate you letting us know. I appreciate you letting us know about your boat. We have no problem with that. You can continue to keep a boat back there as you are helping us by monitoring the property situation. And I said, that's great. That's a fair deal. And that boat has been back there for the last 8 years. Now, people come in to the stream, the 5 Mile River, on a regular basis during the summer. And I see them coming in. And 9 times out of 10, when they do come in with their boat, I walk over and say, how you doing? What's happening? What are you doing? We're just taking our trip boat down to the river. Okay, no problem. And they know I'm watching them because I talk to them all the time. And I keep an eye on that property, and I keep an eye on who's coming in and who's going out, and what they're bringing in and what they're bringing out all the time. And I have caused no harm other than mowing a little path for me to walk so I can get to the boat without walking through weeds up to my waist. That's the purpose. I'm not trying to clear land, I'm making a little path for myself. I'm helping, but not hurting, in my opinion. But in any case, the Wyndham Land Trust was aware that I've had that boat back there for many years. The person I spoke to on the phone many years ago said, no problem. You can keep that boat back there. We appreciate what you're doing. And now this is happening, and I don't appreciate the idea that they're going to put up a fence to lock me out when I've helped them all these years.
Go ahead, Jane.
I have a lot of questions. One, it's my understanding that because they're going to build, the Wyndham Land Trust does not want anybody to have access through there anymore. Is that correct?
To my knowledge, we've never given anybody, it wasn't me you spoke with, by the way, permission to access that.
Okay, but you basically now, because there's a building going in there, you want to make sure that there's no foot traffic this is just getting clarified in my head because there has to be a solution to this. I understand your side of it, and I understand Mr. Mumford's side of it and Mr. Elliott's side of it. I think what Mr. Elliott has been doing is a positive thing. He is the one that has been keeping to make sure that there isn't vandalism and trash and everything else put down there. When you talk about putting a fence up, I am assuming it would be a man-made fence, not a natural fence. Is that correct?
A natural fence, like,
As or putting in a nice long trees,
Nineties or
yeah,
whatever.
to make it blend in with the land, but stop anything big from being taken down there. I mean, you're not gonna be able to stop foot traffic. You know that, and I know that. They're gonna find a way in there no matter what. But I think with what Mr. Elliott has been doing and keeping it so that it doesn't get trashed, that's a plus. Granted, we don't know who's gonna move into those houses. We don't know what they're like. Are they gonna mess it up? Are people gonna go in there and cut trees down? I'm trying to get clarity, whereas people have been going in there for all of these years. Why now are you saying that can't be done?
well, there's.
And I understand that, there's endangered species, not only animals, but fauna and everything else that are in there.
Let me give you an example.
Okay,
We own Long Pond. Do you know
Yeah.
where Long Pond is?
yes,
And Long Pond is also a very delicate habitat
yep,
and is ruined. It's getting ruined by all those four-wheelers and all those people that live in Webster and that development right next to it. So adding people to the equation makes
Yeah.
things worse.
yep.
That's it.
I do
And having a
understand
few
that.
neighbors wandering in and out every once in a while with a boat. And in fact, one of the neighbors is the one that called us on Mr. Mumford when he was clearing the path on our property
Okay,
and gave us the information. So we have good relations with our neighbors. We generally don't harass them if they don't cause trouble. But you're putting four families right up against the one spot where people all go. And you don't think it's going to increase traffic?
I know it will.
Yeah, of course it
No,
will.
well,
3 families.
Okay, three families.
But it's stopping the four-wheelers and everything else, that's why I was asking about a natural buffer line fence.
We're gonna let everything grow up
Okay,
as much as, naturally. We may plant some pricker bushes and other things to, make it a little more difficult for folks to get through.
yeah. How about cameras?
No stop.
Doesn't work.
No,
It's a
okay.
full-time job.
Okay.
People steal the cameras. By the time, we're not policemen.
Yeah,
So you
I know, I
you
get
get a
it.
notification. We're a volunteer organization. So you get a notification, somebody's on your property. It's midnight on Saturday. You're gonna go try to track them down? No, you're not gonna do that. We're not
Okay.
policemen.
I understand that. All right, I forget, I read all of this. I forget. How big are the houses gonna be? 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms?
3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms, okay. Okay, that gives me some clarity, thank you.
I have one last follow-up question for me. Does easement, is that gonna have any fencing? Or is it just gonna be an extra lawn that's?
That'll be a question, we'll get the answer
Okay.
for you.
Thank
Okay,
you, thank you.
go ahead.
I just want to clarify for Jane,
Okay,
the easement as written, as
Yes.
recommended by all the commissions,
yeah,
there is no fence.
yeah,
There is no one putting a fence on this property. This is a request from them.
yes.
So-
No, I got that,
So if
yeah.
we were to allow them, even if we would entertain that, it goes against what everybody else is saying. So that,
No,
just to be clear for the easement, it specifies you can only cut at certain times, you can only hand mow, you cannot.
Yeah.
So it was, so that there's no fence on this easement.
Yeah, no, that's what and I got that. I was just trying to figure out a way to make everybody happy. We
Yeah,
can't do it.
yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Krugel. I think it was Mr. Krugel. I didn't put it up high enough, but I caught it.
Stand next time. All right, I'm sorry to be the wet duck here, but Mr. Moffett owns the land. He does not have permission to give anyone else right away onto somebody else's property. That would be trespassing, right?
Yes.
So he doesn't have the right to do so. If somebody wants to come onto his land, that's his permission to give anyone they want on his land, not to go over into somebody else's. The more we talk about this, the more people are going to know about this location. I never knew about it.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're talking about maybe people parking on the road and everything else and finding out or reading the minutes or this and that. It's gonna make the situation worse. There's no wetlands on his property. Everything's been approved. It's all said and done as far as I'm concerned. I feel bad for the Wyndham Land Trust. I understand your situation of not wanting, of wanting to protect and everything else. I do respect that. I mean, it's an important thing. But the more we talk about this, the more people are going to become informed about it and want to go visit it. If you want to put up a fence, I know what the cost, and it's your prerogative to put up that fence. But it's not Mr. Montford's job to keep people out of it either. He's building houses that is not in the wetland area. That's it, plain and simple, as far as I'm concerned. No disrespect to anyone.
All set there, Mr. Krugel?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just whenever. Mr. Chairman, although the letter from staff did recommend not modifying the conservation easement as presented in any way, I do think there is some merit to considering modifying the easement to allow the Wyndham Land Trust to fence their perimeter where it abuts Mr. Munford's property. Since the issue seems to be the crossing of the current Munford property, which is someday going to belong to 4 other families or 3 other families, however many, that restriction of access from those points of entry would provide clarity as to the boundaries of the easement for the families who are moving in, which is a concern that you've stated, and further restrict unwanted access across the back.
Can I answer to that?
Go ahead.
I think it's a good suggestion. Don't get me wrong, and I have respect for everybody here considered, but you do not need any agreement to put a 7-foot fence up as long as it's on your property line.
Exactly.
Over 7 feet, it has to be 5 feet away from the boundary, and you need the zoning and building permit. But up to 7 feet on the boundary line, you're good to go.
Go ahead, sir.
Understood. The thing would be access to get to that fence. We would have no access unless we were granted an easement, whether it was a temporary easement to build and maintain a fence.
He just specified it has to be 5 feet from the.
No,
Right, 5 feet from the boundary line.
But the rest of it can build a fence to get to the land to build
You
a
have
fence.
plenty of room to get to it from Barker's side, and you got plenty of room on your property down the side of the river. Don't be a lazy bum, cut some trees down and put it up and stop being a crybaby.
All right.
One at a time, please, so I can hear it.
This is a nice hearing.
Oh, what I'm saying, sir, what is that what our CEO just said, is that you are allowed from the boundary line to go in 7 feet. You don't have to clear all of 5 feet. I take that back, 5 feet. You don't have to clear all of 5 feet. All you need to do is clear maybe 2 feet so you can run a straight line, put the fence in. That's all you need, because you really only need a foot to drill a hole with a portable one, put the pole in, do what you got to do. Done it many a times, and then you just run it a straight line and you go. But anything on the inside of that, on the outside of the fence to the property line, you can leave it as is. You can put the pickle bushes and whatever you want to grow there. So that would help. But it's just that by doing it that way, you are still getting your protection. And then once the fence goes all the way up, then you go down to the backside of that property, same way. Nobody's gonna be able to get to that, get to the pond. It's gonna be totally, you're blocking anybody going up on his property. I get it, but I'm just saying is that what we need to do, the land trust, Mr. Elliott, Mr. Munford, the three, all of you need to sit down and figure this out. Because like Mr. Krugel said, Mr. Munford has a right to do what he wants with the property. He's only gonna have 3 houses there to be, actually, you think about it, on the side of the land trust. The 4th house is on away from it, way away. Only thing is, you're gonna have to come, and Mr. Elliott still would like to have it, if he's willing to be the, caretaker for you. So you don't have to worry about, people going up there and making a mess, he cleans it up like he just said. That's something that you could entertain, that would be helpful to you. Because he would like to go up there and fish, I don't know about having a boat up there anymore. But if he wants to go up and fish and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, we gotta work together here. Go ahead, Ms. Dunn.
Okay, so let me be clear. I don't know if I was real clear. You can put a fence on your boundary line up to 7 feet.
Correct.
After 7 feet, you need to be 5 feet away from your boundary line and you need a zoning and a building permit.
But you don't need a permit for a 6
Up
foot
to
fence.
7 feet.
7
no.
feet, so.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
Go ahead, Ray.
I just
But
want to say,
before you go any further, just to clarify again, I was saying with a 7-foot fence, if you wanted to go in from the boundary line, 5 feet. You know what I mean? You don't have to go 8, but you can still do a 7 and do the straight line. You're gonna have the options. This is something that everybody needs to sit down and discuss or whatever. Go ahead, Ray.
I just want to say, land trust, conservation, you put up a fence up, you know how many animals you're gonna block that are gonna go behind these to try to get even through these yards to get to the property on the other side of the river and behind Ross and Manufacturing into the Russ Robbins property. You guys are gonna be blocking the right of way for all them animals, putting the fence up.
There'll be a lot less than there are now, with no houses there.
Yeah, but
Plus they go around on the other side. We own all the land to the south of this development.
there's some cutting that highway off at 100 yards, it's between 100 feet between his property and the water.
Well,
I know all Long Pond, I belong to Rod and Gun Club, we bought that property out there, I know the problem you have with your 4-wheelers out there, but I can't see how 3 families are gonna destroy the property.
go ahead, Dave.
I make a motion, we close public hearing.
Ryan.
Yeah, I have one just real quick. I don't get one. I just want to ask about, I heard something about a dock restriction for the people. Was that something that you guys had suggested?
A dock restriction?
Yeah.
They don't want it.
No, we don't want docks.
You don't want any docks, right? From those people that are building?
We own the land.
No, not
They
the
can't, they
people
can't,
building,
they
the
can't.
people that were going up there and leaving a boat.
Anybody building a dock there now would be doing it illegally.
That's basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Could that be a condition or something like that? Would that be something?
It's already restricted.
It's already restricted, so.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure we clarified that, because I heard you.
Hang on, Steve. Go ahead, hang on to your motion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Elliott.
I'm just curious about this dock because as far as I know, there's never been a dock anywhere out there, unless maybe 100 years ago. And I know you're not referring to that. So I don't know what dock you're referring to because I've never seen a dock there. I've been there 10 years. And prior to me being there 10 years, I don't see any place where there was a dock. That's just one comment on that. And as far as people accessing the property, accessing the pond, they're going to come down the river. They do it every day during the summer. It's going to continue. And if I can't get in the way I get in, I'll go in that way too. But you can't get in there you can't go down there fishing without a boat. That pond has no access to walk in. It's only that one entrance or coming down the river. People bring kayaks and canoes down there all the time.
And whoever is a little bit, but I do remember from my younger days that whoever owns the land around water owns the land, but they don't own the water.
Right.
Okay, so see, that's where I'm having, if people want to come in from wherever down the road or something to fish up there, you can't really stop them. But all you want to do is put a restriction somewhat so they don't go on your property to get to the pond.
Right.
Well, you see, that's where how are we really gonna, how you're really gonna police this? See, and in me, I feel that people, the parties here, need to sit down and talk this out as well, to figure this out.
Yeah, we steward thousands of acres. It's just one more stewardship task.
Sure, I get it, and I'm more for having a lot of property where houses can't get built or whatever over the years going down the road. Cause it getting to be, especially water, that's what helps us with our water, so we have water to drink or whatever. I understand that. But, like Mr. Kruger said.
Yeah.
He has the right, as long as he can do it right, fair and be reasonable and work with the parties there. That's all. I don't know what else to say about it, but,
I think
You
the
may-
individuals, they have to come up with the solution.
let them,
Yeah,
it's their,
yeah,
not problem.
Yeah.
They're to get together, sit down and work this out. We can't tell you what we feel is gonna be right for you, but wrong for him and wrong for that person. You know what I'm saying? You have to come to some agreement. And I don't know, if I had my crystal ball in front of me, I probably could help you.
well, I'm gonna second his motion.
You're gonna second. I was just gonna ask for the second.
I make a motion.
No, it's already in. I already got it.
Hey, Cindy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, do you want me to go over the attached review so that in case something new is in this review
Yes.
now, go over it now?
Go over it now. Let's get it over and done with.
So I gave you the attached review. You have, it was an updated subdivision review. I included the subdivision review in the last meeting. I asked you to recover your site plans. I asked you to recover the 16 pages of the narrative and existing watershed map. And the letter of approval for property owners to continue the public hearing beyond the state statute requirement closing the public hearing within 35 days of the public hearing is in the record. Declaration of easement for proposed neutral drainage, proposed neutral access right of way, and utility are in the application packet. I went through that easement, compared it with what the appendix says in subdivision regulation, and it follows that, and they filled in the blanks. There's no question on that easement. The communication from town planner, inland wetlands and ZO, our town planner read it to you tonight. Conservation report is in here, request conservation agreement is in here. And taken from March, that request was taken from the request of Dave Popowski at the last meeting, wetlands approval and NDDH approval, even though it says NDDH approval. And then the requirements for Article 4, 275, 4.4, all requirements are in the record. And my conditions before work begins on the subdivision, my condition recommendation before work begins on the subdivision, the following must be filed with town clerk's records, the Mylar subdivision, which always is, declaration of easement and conservation easement agreement. Any questions on anything that I just read off to commission members? And or Terry or Greg, are you okay with everything? Okay.
I got a throat lozenge for you. If you need it.
You what?
I got a throat lozenge.
I'm fine.
What?
No, I was gonna say now we can do the motion.
Make a motion to close the public hearing on PZ 26-03.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Abstain? Hearing none? So ordered. Okay, now we go to.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Well, that's not closed. That was.
That's the closing of the public hearing. Now we're gonna go into discussion
And
of
vote.
public hearing and, and possible action. So. All right, I need a motion.
I make a motion we approve PZC 26-03 with the conditions Cindy just listed, with her requirements.
I'll second that.
Ready. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Abstain? Hearing none? we're into the public, discussion of the public hearing.
Didn't you just move to?
I just moved to approve.
Just moved to.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's all right.
So it's approved.
It's approved.
Okay. It's approved. I'm sorry, Dave.
So.
Now we can leave.
Now you can leave. Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you.
I didn't want you
Thank
to
you.
go out the door and something changed on it.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a happy day.
And you too, Mr. Chair, Ms. Terry, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 5, citizen comments.
Stop the share so I can see it.
Yeah.
No hands are up in the Zoom room.
You kidding? All right. Hearing none, anybody in here, citizen comments, have anything to say anything about anything? Okay, if not, we're moving on to number 6, review of the minutes on, 3/16/26 special meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve, that's review of minutes. I make the motion that we approve the March 16th, 2026 meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
James, motion, guys, or seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Mike Krugel
And Russ.
and Russ? Okay, thank you.
And I make the motion that we,
Can
oh, I'm sorry.
Russ Robin, correct? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Passed.
Now,
Now we go to number 2.
I'll make the motion that we,
Can I finish? Can I read first?
you're not quick enough, John.
We're moving right along.
Ah.
I know you want to go home and go to bed. Okay, I need a motion for 3/23/26.
I make that motion to approve the minutes of the March
I'll second
23rd.
it.
Again, hey, I like that.
You're gonna have a discussion
On what?
on the minutes, approving the minutes?
Does that mean you have a correction?
You have a correction?
You had corrections?
Yes, the Planning and Zoning Commission, PZC, the first line says special meeting minutes. It wasn't a special meeting, it's just the meeting minutes.
You're talking, 3/16?
No, I'm talking 3/23.
Oh, 3/20. That's why I asked. You didn't specify.
Well, I didn't specify because that's what you're voting on. Is it 3/23?
Okay. And,
I caught that today.
Sorry about that. It was in fact a regular meeting.
Yes.
It shouldn't be a special meeting.
right.
You're doing a good job. Nobody more than me.
So Jane,
I will change it that with the correction to it being just a regular planning and zoning commission, I make the motion that we
You amend your.
amend, like, yeah, and I thought I said, okay, you know what I mean.
amend.
I
Jane,
amend
you
my
amend your
motion to accept the planning and zoning minute meetings of 3/23/26.
From special to regular.
Yes, I amended it.
Okay.
I'll still second it.
I got you already down. So
Oh,
you ain't
good.
getting out of it.
Good. Just wanted to make sure you got my name.
All right, all in favor with the amendment change by Jane Salcy? All in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain, hearing none, passed. All right, number 7, applications received for discussion and decision.
None,
None,
none.
as in none. Number 8, application received after agenda.
None.
Keep it up, I like it.
Yeah.
Number 9, reports of officer and staff. You're up there, Mr. Canoia.
All right, so on the budget front, I got an updated copy from today. So the one in the packet, is about a month old. So I'm gonna read the most current information that we have. So our original budget, just as a reminder, since we didn't have, sorry.
You can't do that. You have to read what's that, because the one, where'd you get the one today?
What do you mean, where did I get them today? I went to the town hall and I requested a copy.
But you have to read what's in the agenda, not what you got today.
The minutes that you had, get put in the agenda.
The budget
Yeah,
that was
budget
put
report
in
today.
the packet.
So as of March
is what he has
26th,
to-
right here. Okay.
The budget that was put in the packet is what you have to address.
I have it right here.
Okay.
I got it. I was gonna do them in alphabetical order, I'm sorry, I'll do it in this order. So as of March 26th, 2026, month prior,
I can give you the gavel.
we have spent year to date $32,520.09. Our available budget, $17,325.91. We've used 65.2% of the available budget. As a reminder, our annual budget is $49,846. In terms of the line items, we have expenditures of salaries, which don't change. We have the reporting secretary, we have the CEO. In terms of professional affiliations, there were a couple of events. They're in the packet, so I don't need to probably read each line item. You can review those at your leisure if you choose to. Going down the line here for meetings and fees, we also had we have continued conference topics that we've all been to. And the professional services one was the one that I wanted to talk about here. So we're at 29.50 for the appropriation, and year to date we're at 19.29 cents. So we've used a total of 65% with professional services. As a reminder, there was the owl expense was in there, and the trophies, plaques for Alvin, and and stuff. So that was the main expenditure on that front. And other than that, we've had everything fairly standard in this budget. The reason that I brought up the April one, because I tend to go upstairs and I get a fresh copy and I make sure that I have accurate data as of today, because the numbers are different month over month. And that's the reason why I brought up that we have a current one for today. And so as of today's date, April 27th, we've spent a total of $37,969. Therefore, we've used 76.2% of the total budget. So the difference is 76.2% versus 65.2%. So that's the key difference there. There are no extra items. There's nothing that stands out. Any of this is just legal notices, some minor office supplies charges, and salaries and payrolls. And as a reminder, where I was going with all this is that we are still effectively on a very tight budget in the town. Obviously, it's budget season, so there's a lot of sensitivity around this. So we're continuing to restrain our budget. I believe that we're still on freeze. I feel differently.
I was just gonna ask that question. Are we still on freeze?
To my knowledge, we still are. I haven't heard any updates from the select unit or from anyone else. I try to keep up with the board of finance meetings, and I do believe that we are until further notice. So until I think Nick says something to us as a commission, I think we should continue to be very frugal. I think we should continue to consider using our own money if there's something that we really need to do with the funds, since we're getting a little bit closer to the getting a little closer to the end of July. Yeah, we got to make our funds last through July, and as we all know from prior years, budget season can be a little bit unpredictable. So, with that said, our available budget as of today is $11,876.57. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I understand being frugal and everything else because there's still 2 more months to go. What happens at the end of June when we have excess money?
That's a great question. So the last, what happens historically is it went into the general, general budget.
You to say.
Just denied ourselves things that we may need just to give back to the town.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a good point. Like, so what we did last year is we pushed, very hard for the owl. And we took that out of our own budget and we had to fight battles that we probably shouldn't have had to fight in order to get that done, but we did.
Well, I believe taking it out of our budget. This is our budget, this is our.
That's absolutely right. And I agree with you, Mike. So what I would say is, as things kind of progress with the budget, I anticipate there being a little window of time where we do have an excess amount. That if you have a wish list or some items that you're thinking of, that we could, we could probably discuss them at a later meeting. But to answer your question directly, they do go back into the general fund. And so those funds are forfeited, and that has happened in the past. So in order to avoid that, we would have to do it by the end of the budget period, which is a non-traditional.
And I'm not trying to discuss that. It's okay. But the downside has been screwed for many years because we have been frugal. And it's time that we watch what we do with our money before we give it back.
Yeah.
Sure, and I certainly do not oppose that in any way, and I would welcome any kinds of wish list for spending, and certainly if there's things that need to be done or conferences that need to be attended, that we do have ample funds for it. I was just suggesting some fiscal conservatism.
Whoever you want to.
I have a question on the budget.
Yeah.
If you said you wanted to spend money, is it all right if I order the sign, the place cards for the members, new members, because they get about $12 each?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything.
Where you gonna get them from?
I get the old city's print you where I got all the other ones from.
Any
They don't know
basic,
how to do it.
any basic things. I was talking about bigger expenses like $1,000+.
Oh, vacation for all of us, we go ahead.
Yes, but your vacation should only be in Riverside.
I know.
There's a car show next door.
I know. I
You
might
could
go
consider
there.
cash bonuses for the members.
Yeah.
The excess fund.
That won't
You
happen.
could actually,
Your pipe dream.
That's if you work at.
may I make a suggestion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Because we can still get the deal on the purchase of the owl at the price that we originally got it from. And we know that when we are doing things at the library, we're gonna need 2 of them.
Yeah, that could be a wish list.
That's a wish list item for me, yeah,
We could have a wish list item
Yeah.
and submit those maybe next month.
yeah.
As as things progress with budget season, we.
Let's just worry about, because we don't know what's gonna come up.
Yeah.
In the next.
No, but it's
month.
on the wish list.
There's nothing wrong with a wish,
I know I have a long one at home.
but you don't know what we're gonna be dealing with, we might need a lawyer or whatever for whatever little thing that we have to do once in a while, and they don't come cheap. But
That's right, yeah, there could be legal expenses that we
Correct.
need with, with items flying around.
Just, let's be prepared,
Yeah.
okay? We got next month in June, right? And if we can do it, we'll do it,
Okay,
okay?
Yep.
All right. The next one up on the report is our planner. You have table.
All righty, so at a couple of folks' requests from the last meeting, I forwarded you 3 attachments, but on 2 topics. We'll take them in the order they are on the agenda. The affordable housing data that was requested, I think they're actually sort of in the wrong order for what was requested. The one that reads on the top, 2025 Affordable Housing Appeals List exempt municipalities. That is the Department of Housing data. The first page is the communities which are exempted from 830G appeals because they have met or exceeded the 10% affordable housing threshold. Everything after that is all the towns that have not. So it was asked, where does the 4.8 or 5% or whatever number Thompson has come from? And that's where it is. And it shows you the categories of designated affordable housing that they count. And you can, I'm sure that they have deeper links to the methodology that they use on the Department of Housing website, if that is a public document. So then the other is just a larger housing profile for the town of Thompson, put together by Partnership for Strong Communities. They're a nonprofit that works in the housing sphere. So it's just factoids that I thought you might find interesting. And in each of the subcategories, if you look, you can see the source that they drew their data from. And then
That's this one, actually, that's, you were talking about.
correct, this one. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's an interesting website, pschousing.org, if you're ever interested in tooling around, and they have one of those data sheets for each town in the state. And then the third piece is I was asked to start a draft for next year's zoning regulation amendments, which I was happy to do. I will just want to put a caveat on that because the town has entered into at least a preliminary agreement with CMDA, the Connecticut Municipal Development Agency. They are doing a review of all of our land use documents, and they're going to come back with specific recommendations. I don't have those yet. I don't think they'll be far off from these, but I would say this is very much a first pass. Just in quick summary, I won't read it all in here because again, it's a quick pass, including some definitions that are within Public Act 25.1 or related to Public Act 25.1 that are going to relate back to mandatory changes that we're going to have to make. Another mandatory, one of the few mandatory changes from 25.1 was the changes to the petition requirements. It almost ends up being a distinction without a difference. It just raises the threshold of signatures that someone appealing a zoning change would have to collect, but it lowers the threshold from a supermajority to a simple majority of whether you accept that or not. Almost never comes up, but it is a change that's required by PA 25.1. And then the one that is the second of the mandatory changes is creating a new summary review category for missing middle housing that is defined as in the Public Act as developments between 2 and 9 units. 2 doesn't really apply to you guys. You already treat duplexes exactly the same as you treat single families. So for you guys, it would be 3 to 9 units. I believe I'm pretty confident that you do not have to apply that to every district in town. I feel pretty confident that you will be able to limit it to the 3 development districts and the common residential district, which has full access to water and sewer. If I am advised otherwise by our attorney, I will change that recommendation. The amendment to the earth, sand, and gravel extraction as of right level, you guys did not like going down to, there was no exemption from a zoning permit. The first selectman, who, as you know, has a landscaping business, and I talked about that after that meeting, and this was what he and I derived as a good way to solve the problem that we were trying to solve with the last suggested amendment that you guys opted not to pursue. The other piece, and this is the one that I think actually we would want to talk about a little bit tonight, is there was some appetite to change the standards for neighborhood limited enterprises. As you know, we hadn't previously had a test case for that, but then we had a test case or two, and it was the DEO's opinion, and I was forced to concur with her that those applicants didn't actually meet the legal standard that we had set, but people didn't seem to like that those applicants didn't meet that legal standard. So how do you want to adjust those? I haven't made any specific changes, recommendation for changes here, because I think that this is a piece that is uniquely well suited to doing a public workshop. The question is, what is the tolerance level of people in residential districts for rural businesses to be co-located. Although I have pretty good confidence in this group and their ability to discuss that, because it is very much about, neighbors living and working next to neighbors. Again, I think it's pretty well suited to doing a public workshop, and I'm willing to schedule one, and we can certainly talk about that under this agenda item. And then the last piece is I tossed the cannabis microcultivator, well, all the cannabis language, but specifically the microcultivator moratorium back in there because you have renewed it for a year, which means you're going to have to go through that same process again, discuss how you want to adjust it or whether you want to extend the moratorium again at the end of that 1 year period. I more or less put the suggested amendments in there where we left off. I narrowed them down a little bit based on some of the research that I did after Ryan sent the quick list of which towns in Windham County and immediately surrounding had legalized it. So very little change from where we left off in our discussion. Again, just narrowed down a little bit based on that. So that's what you have, very preliminary, but again, I would suggest scheduling a public workshop. The question is, do you want to do it in May? Do you want to do it in June? Do you want to do it in July to discuss that neighborhood limited enterprise piece?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
The first thing is, I wanted to thank you for providing some data because I had asked for some tangible data. And the Department of Housing. So the Department of Housing is providing this data, but it says on the top here, 2024.
That's not the Department of Housing data. That's the Partnership for Strong Communities.
Okay.
That's just a fact sheet.
This is a fact, and this had nothing to do with Department of Housing data. This is just.
No, it's just additional housing data. So the one that looks like this is the.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, yeah, that was good too. I actually read this document in one of the workshops that we did. I entered a question into the chat.
Here comes number 2.
So where I'm going with this, so my question is, on the 5% number, because I'm just using this as a subsidized number here. So assuming that this is 2024, this is historically looking. So the point is, this does not include any new,
Just keep them going.
Keep them going.
keep it going. This does not include any new projects. So this doesn't include anything from the mills, because it's all historic data. So anything would be, I guess what I'm looking for is a pro forma, like a projection in 26 and 27 that would include the mill projects.
I would say that those projections wouldn't be for 26 and 27. They'd be further out than that, but I could certainly do a rough projection of how many units.
I was thinking, what I'm trying to frame is,
Everybody needs both.
everybody needs them.
I'm sorry.
That's good too. Yes.
No, we only got one.
I got 2.
He got
We can share.
For the benefit of
I didn't get any, but that's okay. I don't care.
one.
I don't care.
But for the benefit of the commission, I was hoping that's so how close you were with the mill projects to the 10% number, and that's really what I'm after. So just kind of find
I see where
like
you're.
a projection or a pro forma or whatever term you would use for that. But let's just assume that 5% is the baseline. So let's say this data is accurate. That's 24 is a baseline scenario. So in the 3 to 5 year projection, we would say X amount of units are being added, and that's going to get us to 9%, 10%, 10%, obviously being.
Yeah, I understand the point you're making.
Okay.
However, I'll do my best to create some kind of projection for you. However, what I can tell you about that is that the number of affordable units proposed won't have a substantive effect on our overall percentage because it's 10% of each of those proposed developments. So unless we had asked them for, say, 15%, we're not actually changing the baseline.
Because only 10% of those new builds are going to be deemed affordable, and the rest are gonna be market price.
Correct.
Therefore, it's gonna be
So it's
90%
really
are
just
gonna be
holding
market.
us
So
stable.
it's gonna keep it flat. In theory, the 5% number is gonna be something that needs to be worked on over a period of time to meet that requirement in the.
Correct. And as of this moment, we don't have any developments proposed that would have a higher than 10% set aside. That doesn't mean one will not come down the road, but we don't have any right now.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, that answers that. I think that's clear. And this is a new question I didn't have in my prepared notes, because I did read through all these documents today and refreshed and took some notes, but the CMDA, the town entered into an agreement. Is that something that Nick signed off on? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
You want a little backstory on that, or?
No, whatever. I was, if anyone's curious on the commission.
It's a good thing.
After the
Yeah.
meeting.
Sure,
It's all
I'll be
good,
here. Yeah.
No problem. Next topic. So my other one is, in terms of the neighborhood, limited enterprise, I think that we're gonna have a session on that, so I'll bring that stuff up at a later date. Multifamily at 35%, according to this here, and the single family at 65. That was something that stood out to me. And then in Thompson, it said 82% are single family homes. So I guess what I was thinking is we could do a comparative analysis maybe to comparable towns. So let's say other rural towns with similar populations. What are those other towns at? And then maybe.
If you go to pschousing.org, they have a data, well, obviously, we only have Thompson's, but
Right.
the website is psc.org. They do a fact sheet like this for every town in Connecticut.
Great, okay. Okay, okay, that's good. And then my last one, which is probably the most important for the terms of the commission, is I saw a reference to the changes to the tables of uses, and it broke out 4 districts. It broke out the DMRD, the TCBD, the CRD, and the BDD as the areas, I'm assuming that we've always kind of thought about for development. So does that mean in plain language that the RRAD and the Lake District and any other districts would be separated? And the reason that I bring that up is we had extensive training. We've all been to, I don't know, John and I at least have been to like 5 or 6 different between Zoom calls, offsite calls. And I think one of the things that our town has done much better than the others, and I had no idea before I went to all these, but one thing that we did really well is we separated our town into districts. And that way we're able to kind of keep certain areas protected that we want to in the town. So we are saying that, the RRAD is probably not the place to be putting in some of this style of housing. And, DMRD is kind of open season, and we should.
What, TVC, what's the other one, CRD, now,
CRD.
my question, I was just gonna ask you, on the map, I went to look at it. Not all of CRD is under sewer and
It
water.
is, that's
The whole thing, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get,
That's how we determine what
Okay.
properties to put in.
okay, thank you, I just wanted a little bit better clarification.
Yeah, so to answer your question as best I can at this point, my interpretation of 25-1, and I've been to as many trainings as you have, and I've read it multiple times. I believe that the summary review for missing middle housing, which is the units for us from 3 to 9 rather than 2 to 9, may be limited to areas that are essentially mixed use or have public utility access. I feel pretty confident about that, which is why I proposed these 4 districts. They are either specifically development districts, named 3 of them, and then the common residential district is fully accessible to water and sewer. It may be that when we present our semifinal draft, I am told, nope, it's got to be the whole town. I don't think so. I feel pretty confident that the RRAD, the Lake District, and the Village District are not going to be subject to this.
Okay, because that's really, you see what I'm getting at.
I do.
don't want them to. And when you say that you're asking permission, is that from OPM that is giving that guidance or?
Well, we get our opinion from council,
Well, yeah.
first.
Right.
OPM isn't going to be in play for our zoning regulations. OPM will be in play for the municipal housing growth plans, and those aren't going to be, we're going to have to start working on them in 27, but they're not going to be due till 28.
Right, and that's kind of where I was going with that was, we're gonna have to submit areas that are kind of open for some type of development according to this 25-1. And that's why I'm attempting to kind of say, okay, these areas are probably going to be not open for that. I don't think that's something that we should be considering. So as part of our plan, when we do ultimately submit that in 2027, we're going to have tons of workshops and discussions and subcommittees, I'm sure, ahead of that. But I just want to make sure that we're all kind of in that mindset that those areas are at the moment thought of as more protected and not open to that. And that's really my main point.
My proposal at this point, unless I get high level information that it needs to be otherwise, is that those other districts, I think in the village district and the RAD multifamily, it's the village district. Multifamily development is a special permit use that would not have to change for those two areas. And I think we don't have any option for multifamily in the Lake District because the profile. Yeah. But I'm not looking at it, so I could be wrong. We're at the very least, it would be a special permit.
Exactly. I wouldn't think it's applicable, but we can discuss it.
But it is possible that I am interpreting that too narrowly against the intent of the Public Act. I don't think so. I feel very, very confident that they're trying to drive this development to places that either already have or could easily be expanded to have utility access and that are slated for mixed use types of development. And those are the ones that I've identified here.
I have one quick question. So I'm looking at the non-exempt municipalities list.
The non-exempt.
Yes, non-exempt. So just to cut to the chase, it looks like we have about 200 properties that do fit the affordable housing category as it's defined by the state. Would that be correct?
Yep.
4.8.
Department of Housing thinks so, yes.
So doing the math, you could say, well, looking at the current housing stock that we had 200 more affordable housing units properties. That would get us to around 10%, if I'm doing the math correct.
Except the way they're coming online as proposed right now is part of larger developments.
Correct.
And a 10% set aside within that. So that's why it ends up being flat.
So that's not what I'm getting at. I'm just saying, looking at current housing stock that we have right now in 2026, it's 4,143 units. If we had 200 additional affordable houses, that would get us to the 10%.
If 200 of the existing units converted to be restricted.
Converted, yes.
I think Steve's looking at it as an absolute number, which is the way I was too, as opposed to saying affordable, because I still kind of take issue with that word affordable, because that ties into subsidized housing, and I'm not sure that that's really the definition, but we're going to debate that 100 more times until that goes through. But just taking a step back and our hands down for a minute, an absolute number to his point is going to meet that. And that's exactly how I was looking at it. And that's really where I'm trying to draw that initial line before we have many debates and discussions about this in other venues. But
yeah, I mean, I can project it out based on things that we've either permitted that haven't been built yet, or we suspect are going to be permitted soon. What the total number would be and what therefore the percentage would be.
Yeah, because I don't know that cherry picking, what we deem as affordable right now is the way to go. I think using an absolute number to start is a good benchmark for them.
Just a benchmark. That's it.
Why don't we keep it on our AD? I get, that's what.
In the Lake District, you know.
And the Lake District, correct.
And my baby.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. Did I have that right? All right, any more discussion with the, our planner?
I guess
Oh,
I just want to know what month you want to do the workshop in. Sooner than later.
Well, you're talking as a public work,
Public workshop just on the narrow topic of the neighborhood limited enterprise.
okay,
So it wouldn't be a subcommittee meeting, it would be a workshop, open to the public, probably some kind of, questionnaire thing, presentation, just like the other kinds.
it's like we just had recently when we were all down at the library and people could come in and.
Like budget workshop, you know?
Yeah, a little more interactive.
Maybe, yeah, definitely.
Before school gets out, because then everything's gonna disappear.
No, I was gonna ask for after school gets out, because that's when we all have time.
That's fine with me, I'm gonna be around doing nothing then,
So,
but I'm just thinking.
just for the, I'm gonna ask for a consensus on this to see what everybody would like. The availability, would it be good? Because we do need to have a subcommittee on a few issues, that we need
I
to
would
get
recommend
resolved
waiting
before
on
July
those.
1st, huh?
I would recommend waiting on those
Okay.
until we have feedback from CMDA,
Okay,
which I think I should get soon, although he hasn't given me a timeline yet, but he did say it would take a few months, and he's had it for a few months, so.
okay.
Uh,
Is there a way to throw another log on the fire with him?
yeah,
To
yeah,
move it?
I'll follow up with him.
Okay.
In fact, I kind of meant to do it today, and it just got.
Okay. You're busy, you're busy. So if we do want to do a workshop,
Just
whatever.
on the NLEs. Could you send out a poll to members?
No, I can get a consensus now, and then she can send it out and say, okay,
Go
this,
for it, Sharon.
this week, not this week, but whatever week in May, if that's available.
I just want to know May, June, or
Well,
July.
that's what I'm asking, what does everybody want, so we can get together.
Well, I would say May is difficult for me.
John. Don't forget, May, we have an early meeting, it's May 18th. So we.
That's right, you're right, thank you.
June.
June.
June,
Okay.
End of June.
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 Well, I'm gonna give you guys a clue. You can have it between, if you have it between June 12th and 15th, I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be enjoying myself in Pocono, so. So any,
So let's plan then, if we can, on.
the third, make it, see what the
Yeah,
dates
I'm gonna tell you
are, the
exactly-
third week,
I
the
can tell
third
you
week.
exactly what I have available for June then. This is.
School gets out.
Wait a minute, I won't.
Yeah. June. What's something?
June 24th. I would do it on.
Well, that's perfect for me. Everybody agree, June 24th? Yes, no, speak up, or forever hold your peace,
Library.
Might be,
Yeah, I'll bring it.
you know,
June 24th.
June 24th.
Yeah.
Time.
Let's
Acceptable.
do it at 7. Well, normally I would say 7 for here, but they close. They don't like to have their custodian there all hours of the night. So if we're gonna do a 2-hour,
Well,
6 to 8.
Bob have to be.
well, we're just gonna have to,
6:30 to 8:30.
6:30 to 8:30, or maybe
Oh,
our chief executive officer could get it prolonged a little longer if we needed to.
6:30.
They'll do it. They just don't wanna force the guy to work overtime if they don't have to, but 6:30 to 8:30.
Hey, I'm willing to
It's-
take
it's
the
in
broom
between
and push it
numbers.
around. I'm not-
I usually have to pick up all the chairs anyway,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
I don't have a problem to do that for the public's sake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we need to be there, say we are in there an extra half an hour or so, and he wants to hit the road, hey, hit the road. I'll even help him out there too, you know what I
You
mean?
gotta deal with union personnel then.
So
Oh, here we go.
I heard the comments about the CMDA, but if we want to have.
He's not wrong.
Subcommittee also
I'd say
ahead of the
Oh,
July
oh.
1st, upcoming 25-1. Do we want to
So
have something on?
my feeling on that is that I I know that that is the deadline and I'm all about hitting deadlines.
You're talking,
Nobody's gonna be ready. They're not gonna penalize anybody if they haven't adopted
you're
it.
talking for July first.
Yeah, they're not gonna penalize
See,
anybody.
that's what,
Ready, folks.
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about that as I might be if we didn't have a million other things to do and we hadn't just adopted a bunch of amendments.
all I care about,
All we have to do is show we're doing the work. I feel.
well, that's what I'm saying, Mr. You know, I'm just saying is if we're showing our initiative, then, you know, it's like getting penalized for something that you really didn't do, but the state still wants to penalize you. All right, so just keep me abreast of that, so we'll, you know, so we'll know how to handle it. That's all I ask. And my question to you is that on how are things going with your developers or whatever, people that are showing an interest, have you have any more interest? So I mean, some of the commissioners would like to know where everything like that stands.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things we can't talk about a ton. Obviously, you know, Robert's been working on 630 Riverside. He had some kind of court date today, and he has a date set for a remote hearing in two weeks from today on the 11th. I believe that might be the day that he takes title. But he is working like a dog back there. We're working on developing some public surveying for how people want to see those neighborhood commercial spaces developed. He's going full bore.
Good. I said to him, he's got my support.
Yeah, we have had some interest in 659 Riverside. A development group, some colleagues of mine that I know through the Eastern Connecticut Land Bank came in to try to do a site walk last week, which we had to sort of put off for a couple of weeks. So that would be nice if they feel that they can take that troubled property on.
What's the address on that one?
650 North Standing Ground.
Northeast Standing Ground. The old standing ground.
Yep. St. Joseph's School
Looks good.
looks good.
They're
They
working.
may still be under a temporary stop work order because I think they did some of that framing without having their permits.
Maybe it doesn't look good.
No, they're fine. They're fine. Whatever it is, they're working through.
It'll work
But-
itself out soon.
Yeah.
But I've been,
The framing
Yeah.
looks nice.
Oh, yes,
The framing
yes.
looks nice. And somebody, I believe, has taken possession of 962 Riverside, which is Quinn's Shirt Shop. Do you have any updates?
Yeah,
on that?
I know.
yeah, I have an update here.
Okay.
I went by the other last week.
Some of these things are very preliminary, so we don't.
Wait a minute, why is that stone wall looking nice? It was like all the brush that was being grown around it was cleaned up. Was the first thing that caught my eye.
Well, anyway, that's very preliminary if he did take possession. And obviously the big mill, we're still finalizing contracts, but we have signed an assistance agreement. We don't have access to the funds yet, but that is imminent. I was on a call just on Thursday with the state and our attorney, their attorney, the development attorney, trying to resolve some last minute issues there.
But it is coming.
It is coming.
So there's no confusion there. Popular
Yeah.
media believe.
Yeah.
4.5 million.
The amount's a little off, but we did in fact sign it, so I'm not a liar.
Yeah,
For the record.
we signed two agreements in the
Yeah.
month of April, one for 4 million, one for
I don't need to
2.3.
be salty, but.
And
I didn't even know she did.
yeah, it just,
Yeah.
people get confused all the time when they're talking about which amount goes to which project. That's all.
That's
all
why I
that
think
is.
it's helpful to share this kind of grant and MISRAC info with the group, because I'm sure not all of us listen to all the MISRAC recordings and things like that. Things like one.
I think Mizrac is a good place for everything to start.
It is.
Instead of it, Mizrac seems, from what I've been
Just
keeping abreast on and everything, I'm getting good information from it. So these people don't have to come to us and then we have to dance with it, let the minor league take care of
To
it.
say it a different way, it's all public information because it's on a recorded line, so therefore it's good to disclose to the group. And I think the more data they can share with everybody, the better decisions we can make and think about things.
Okay, now we're all done with that. We're gonna move on to our, the,
Hey, 1097, I received the attorney friend contacted the other, the plaintiff's attorney, or anyway, concerning cleaning it up. And, there was, he said to attorney friend, I gave you the email, my firm represents the plaintiff, me, I don't know why I'm the plaintiff. On the above zoning litigation. And there apparently was some outreach by one of the, well, he said by one of the individual defendants, but it wasn't a defendant that outreached. It wasn't one of the defendants in 1097, right? It was somebody else.
Oh, no, it was the owner.
Oh, it was the owner? Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, inquiring whether a cleanup the subject property could resolve the litigation because Ms. Dunn's complaint alleges additional acts by the defendants, including illegal businesses and illegal residential apartments. Any resolution of litigation would need to also resolve these matters. Please let me know if you would like to discuss a more comprehensive settlement. And there was some emails back. I'm not available now. I'll call you back, but I never got anything else after this email.
Cindy.
So that's where we stand on 1097.
Yeah,
Okay.
what's going on over there?
Well, I got a question,
Yeah.
What is status over there?
because there was a meth lab.
No, that is incorrect information.
That's what the state police
No,
said.
that is 100% incorrect information. Let me clarify that because I do have the factual information. And I don't want to get any misspoken thing about any potential for drug labs within our town. There was no drug lab within that thing. And I want to give a bigger picture. The owner of that building had personally reached out to me as a business owner because we had thrown a lot of lines out of there to clean up the property. I had instructed him that all we need is a letter. And I have a bunch of businesses and community members that will help clean that up. The communication has now completely stopped. The state police were there. Originally, they were called for what was suspected to be a drug lab. It was not a drug lab. It was vats of 5-gallon pails, vats of some type of acid. And they were trying to extract gold from plated computer electronics.
Oh my God.
So originally they did go in thinking that yes, there was a meth or some type of drug lab. I get a phone call at 10 o'clock at night. State hazmat was responding. This was, I believe it was last Friday. And we were originally notified that there was a potential for that. Subsequently, it was a solvent, an acid-based product that they were trying to extract from these computers. Now, pretty alarming that it was that, but I thought it was even more alarming that I didn't even know that there was occupancy within that building.
Well, that's.
So that's an even bigger problem.
So now he's got another violation.
No, hang on, can I just say
Yeah.
one thing about that? Them apartments have been in there for 30 years.
Well, I meant the back is occupied. This was in the main existing restaurant kitchen.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that that was completely vacated and there was zero occupancy there. So we have a couple issues that we're trying to work through there, but just to set the record straight officially, I know there was a lot of speculation on what that was, but that is absolutely 100% the official on that.
So if the two apartments were there for 30 years and it should have been in the assessor's office, the assessor's property card says one apartment and a restaurant, that's it. So he has two apartments and he's a violation of the zoning regulations.
So I actually had tried to reach out to that individual about the hazmat incident. Nothing. So back to dead channels.
Another letter has to go out to him and the attorneys have to know that this is going on.
Today was a Monday. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, thank you. For
I did see, Cindy, someone moved out of the front apartment and there's been no vehicles there. So it looks like just the back one is occupied now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just the back one. They moved out maybe, I know it was right before the state police or right after state police.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that someone's not gonna move in next week.
Yeah, I'm just saying, right now it's
Okay.
vacated. There is just one.
Next one. Okay, so I wrote you on my memo. Ross and Materials called me up and they said they're ready to close it out. So we're not going to renew their application, I made a decision that we don't need to renew, Zero Quarter Town Farm Road gravel operation. And I will make an appointment with them to check out the reclamation, what they need to do. And, hope, maybe, because it's May 18th, I will recommend the return of the $36,000 bond, maybe, a May too. That's only a couple of weeks away, so.
Doesn't
And then-
have to get done in 2 weeks. It can be held off a little bit longer.
Yeah, right. Applicant, the other application is JJS Construction down in 1574 Riverside, the renewal. Renewal requirements are under our new regulations. I sent him a letter right after the meeting. Not this meeting, the special meeting, and I called him up and I told him what he had to do, and he called the engineering firm, Daniel, and Daniel said that he could get to it maybe by May. He's not sure. So that might come in May, the renewal. Any questions on those two? Okay. The next one is home occupation permit. But this is kind of ironic because this young man came in and he said that he is starting a tree cutting service. And I don't mean to laugh, I'm sorry. I was very, very careful with him. We had a great discussion. It's just him, one truck at his parents' house. History repeats itself. I gave him the conditions of the approval. When applicant hires up to 3 employees, the permit needs to be modified. Only one company truck right now is to be stored on property. When truck usage and or cutting equipment increases and are stored in property, permit needs to be modified. Offsite debris product is not to be brought to 358 Chase Road. Only cord wood for personal use to be brought to the site. And no chipping of offsite product on property 358 Chase Road. Applicant is aware that if he exceeds any of the above conditions, his permit will be revoked and he will revisit a suitable location. And I gave him the home occupation permit. I just want to make you aware because of the history of 41 Hill Road that I did do this. I gave it to him.
Well, you learned from that one too.
Well, no, I didn't learn any because in 2019, that was a legitimate home occupation permit, but we learned, yes, to be careful when somebody comes in with that request. Absolutely, John.
Yeah, you're just gonna just step back 1-2 steps and
yeah,
let's go.
And I explained to him why he had these conditions.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead, and go ahead, hang on, as soon as she finishes.
So
Go ahead, you got any more to say?
Oh, not on this, I don't, no.
I just want to go back to last month, we talked about the gravel permits and the work you were doing on them. Do we have any permits in completion right now that haven't been renewed?
Well, if you want to say that, JJS Construction, they're 1 month behind.
That's the only one in the whole town? Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody else got the letters, but they have to everybody got letters like that week after the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I talked to a couple of them and, et cetera. So Dave for Coleman is probably about 2 days. I said, May 18th, it's just a couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, we want to be reasonable, but.
Right.
So is there a trigger for the ones who, I know you sent out the letters or whatever, but what about the ones who say they're gonna come, they don't come? Do we have a way, like a calendar reminder or something?
I have it all written down. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I did, the letter was pretty good to all of them.
Yeah.
So this is what they had to do.
Thank you.
2 things are not on here, but I was approached with 2 things today and yesterday, I guess maybe today. One of them was at 3:30, I got a memorandum that was addressed to me and to Tara and also you. I don't know why it was addressed to you because we certainly take care of these issues. But there seems to be a gravel operation going on down at Zero Quarter Town Farm Road, near Logie Road, Baker Road. And I got it from the Wetlands Commission, the memo. And I did call Gary Rawson to ask him to call me to see what's going on. And I left work early to take a ride out there and see it, and I took pictures, and there is a gravel. There is something going on out there. So I will be checking that and reporting back to you on that.
That's with Gary Rawson.
Gary Rawson, yes. And finally, you're up now. I had a request today for, in the paperwork, I had written a report, and then the gentleman, Pedro, wrote up his own report for you today, down at 520, the shopping center down there, Neil Patel's place. This storage unit it's better in color. You can see it better in color. He is interested in parking it there for a party rentals. I wrote up a little summary on it, and he wrote one up, so I gave that to you too. But my question before we get to the summary is I quoted the regulation that states that you could have box trailers in commercial districts. And after reading this or listening to Pedro talk, is this what you had in mind when you said that box trailers could go on commercial properties? So that's my question of you. And that's why I couldn't give him an answer to come in with a site plan review permit. So
I would say not at all, because it says attached to the chassis.
what was that?
It says attached to the chassis, so that was not what we were talking about. We
Your
specific.
So you allow box trailers are prohibited just in the residential districts. They're permitted in DMRD. They're permitted. Because we talked about that. It just says they're not permitted in those districts. And I had brought up the question when we were going through that in 2020. And now, I'm getting over it. My memory is still there. I had asked the question. So then you're going to allow box trailers in the DMRD district. And you're going to allow them. You're going to allow them in the business district, the TBCD district, not TBCD, the Thompson Corridor Development District, and you said yes. That was the answer, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So is something what he is going to be talking about, what you had in mind when you said yes?
That was the answer I had. We did not have that in mind because it says firmly attached to the chassis. It's just totally different from what I'm seeing here. There's no chassis, there's
Okay,
It's
box
like a
trailers.
shipping, that's like a shipping container.
Yeah.
It comes in, they put it right on the ground.
Yes.
It's a ground, almost a ground fixture.
So not as.
However, there are also that are bodies that are removable, so that's removable.
Yes, that's what shipping containers are. They're-
Right.
they-
Removable bodies, that would be swap body.
Well, it
So would
depends
you
on how.
consider this a swap body?
Well, if you want to call it that, because a container like that gets loaded on a frame, on frame, a bare frame gets pinned down, and then wherever it goes, it gets delivered. Yeah, it can be, you want to call it a swap body, and well.
Okay, I want to get. So could we allow Pedro to speak on what he would like to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as if it,
Oh, yes.
to me, if that container is sitting on the ground,
Liquor store. Okay.
it's not a box trailer. A box trailer for me is, it's a box that's mounted to a frame and it's permanently on the frame, correct or not?
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, well, as you guys know, my name is Pedro. I own Poppin' Off Party Rentals, and we're gonna be looking to put a shipping container, not a box, whatever, at Mr. Patel's location at Thompson Plaza. There's a couple locations that we're interested in putting it. The main focus for this particular location is really to get visibility. So the main focus here is, hey, I'm here. This is where you pick up your items. And right now we are running our business out of our homes, so pickup is not really an option. So this is just a good alternative and cost-effective alternative to get that project done. We have a couple other locations that we're interested in going. The next one that we're probably going to be going for is going to be in Danielson, and that's going to be in the upcoming years. But right now, as you can tell, it's going to be a shipping container. Customers are going to have the ability to book online. Then they get a QR code. The QR code is then scanned. And then from there, the door will unlock and then the items will go in. Or they'll pick up their own items. Then they'll return to the same location. It is all battery powered. So it's going to be an eco flow, and that will also power the lights inside. So it's no connection to the grid and it's also removable. So as you can see, it's obviously a seasonal business. So we don't really need it there in the wintertime. And then obviously Mr. Patel is going to want to clean out for snow removal. So what we're proposing is from May, maybe early August to then November, and then getting it removed. And then again in April to then November would be the normal schedule going forward. That's all I got.
Go ahead, Tara.
While you've been describing your business use for this, I would suggest to the commission, given that this is in the DMRD in a retail plaza, this is a form of self-service retail. It just happens to be rental, not purchase. And I think that you could justifiably call this a retail store, new, and because it's not a part of the main building, and that therefore it would be eligible for approval under zoning permit with site plan review by commission. That is my opinion.
So you're saying, because I looked at that too, and then I saw the personal service shop, and
Well, personal service shops, I'm pretty sure we define as things like barbershops, salons.
Hang on, Mike.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yep. So it's Denver's different.
Yeah.
But that'll be on the application.
Go ahead, Ray.
Where on the property are you thinking about putting that? Because he also has the food truck that's gonna be going there too.
Oh, we spoke about that. It might go in that location as well. That's still in the air, depending on what you guys come up with. So it's either going to be in the corner next to the propane tanks, or next to that transformer, or God forbid, on the other side where there's less visibility on that left side where the trees are. I prefer if it was more visible in that main area, but if I had to and it has to go in the corner, then it is what it is.
What's with being up towards the front of that side, so I'm not against it, but being that, that's a break the view for people pulling in and out with a box that size.
Yeah, we did talk about that as well. So it really comes down to what your guys' decision is.
That's why I'm asking.
He did mention that, hey, there might be something about that. So I don't know if the food truck is going in, but I think we could take that spot if it is possible.
We would contact the, thank you for bringing that up, because that we would contact the state highway for the site review. So we would have to get their permission to which put it. So, thank you
Are
very
you
much.
talking sideline?
Yeah, sightline, yeah.
So,
This doesn't show the new building yet.
right, sorry, I just wanted a map because it's easier.
Yeah, we'll put a map in the application.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, you gotta put it up.
Oh, okay, great, yeah.
just not the new building is there, but.
Yeah, the new building's not shown yet.
As soon as Mike, you'll go up next.
No, sir.
Yes.
Don't hold yourself to April to November. Full year round, just in case you get busy.
And we never know. The holiday period does pick up. So
you don't want to be tied down to certain dates if you don't have to be. Yeah.
So then you recommend that all year round we would keep the shipping container? I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all.
Not gonna hurt you. You're better off to have the whole cake than try to have half the cake.
Especially because we're talking about it now.
You don't know. That's the thing. All of a sudden, people see, and next thing you know, it's ding, 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 ding. Every day you gotta see people rolling in and out, getting what they need.
That's what I'm hoping for. And then obviously if it does really well, then maybe we do smaller items that people can pick up. Yeah.
But it's better to be ahead. Go ahead.
So are we gonna get a map of this?
Part of an application.
Part of an application, okay, I just, so that, okay, that's all.
Yep, go ahead, dear. BC.
I know you're gonna come back with a site plan, but specifically I'd be interested in the lighting and signage on that site plan, just to reduce a second meeting or anything else for you. Just put as much detail on that site plan for all the commissioners to look at, but especially lighting and signage.
Okay, so
What
what
I
is
do is I
permitted?
go over,
for signage?
275, 4.4 A and B.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you go.
it's an existing footprint, so I don't, I just wanna make sure it's almost considered as a new footprint.
Yeah, I still go, even though it's existing, I do that with all the applicants.
Okay.
When they go in there.
I'd just say, I agree with Dave, we don't want to know what it looks like. We got two different pictures here, they kind of look different. So
Mhm.
Well, that's a black and white.
Well, they look different anyway. One has 3 doors, one has
Oh,
4 doors.
Yeah,
What does it look like? How big is the sign? The
The
lighting?
dimension, yeah.
Yeah, it's a basic shipping container. We're using a 20 by 8 by 20, and we're just putting literally a sign on top, and then how many doors I can fit it. That's really what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
It's like two St. Vincent de Paul containers,
But with-
clothing containers or something.
Yeah, very, very simple.
Yeah. Okay.
They're kind of reusing them now.
So he should apply.
Yeah.
In the back.
Yeah, you should, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Pedro, can I get your last name for the record?
I believe it's VILLEGAS.
Oh,
Yeah.
there, it's right.
I know that 2 meetings ago, we talked about subcommittee meeting for yearly updates of our ordinance changes. I think the reason why we went back and forth, we didn't have a clear definition of a truck body versus a shipping container versus a Connex box. And I think we were gonna go to subcommittee to get language and then
I'll add it to my list.
at our next update, whatever that is, actually put it in. Because I think we looked up and we went back and forth about a residential shipping container, and we went back and forth if it was a truck body or shipping container, and we went back and forth. So,
In the past,
yeah,
we had some issues that came to us that people had, a
yeah,
trailer,
absolutely.
somebody sitting on their property and it was it was going to hell and
Like an
everything.
18-wheeler trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so with a shipping container,
Oh, I get it.
but it is considered like a trailer, but it's not permanently on a trailer.
Mhm.
You can they can pick it up, put it on the ground, slide it off, whatever, which is okay, because it's almost like putting in one of those sheds that you can go down in Plainfield buy for about $5,000.
I think I own 10 of them. Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
there are
You never
some
know.
people that didn't get the concept of what is a
Yeah.
tractor, a trailer body or a shipping container.
Yeah, and I think when we go to subcommittee, we should put that in our language to
Well,
define that.
that's what we're
Some of
hoping
these
to
things
do.
definitely represent modernizations of uses.
Yes.
Right, whereas before uses were a lot simpler.
Yes.
Some of these things now, the repurposing of a shipping container body for a retail purpose. It becomes different.
They're coming so common because
Very.
you can go out and buy them for $1,000, or you can buy a 40-footer for about less than $3,000, deliver it to your property. Well, I don't know where you're from, but I know I can get it done. But I mean, think about it.
I got your guy's number.
Yeah.
But just think about it, I remember when we were doing, offloading them and putting them on trailers and they were hauling them out and you go to, what's it, Oxford.
Really next?
Yeah,
Next up.
we got moving. Let's get moving. Let's get moving.
All right, good.
Housing.
Everybody, what's up, go to correspondence. Has everybody looked at the correspondence from all the planning? From Webster, Dudley, Webster, and Putnam, did you read it all? It was very interesting. All right, we go to signing a Mylar, requires a roll call vote. Now that we amended the agenda for that. First one up. I need a motion on it.
I make a motion that, you sign the MyLars for, Trudeau. I'm not sure if that was the first one, but that's the one that sticks in my mind.
PZC 26-05. Is Trudeau.
I put them down below in the back here, because I thought we were.
Yes, you're right. 2-6, he's right, 2-6, I got it right here.
Second raise motion.
Okay.
The PZC 26-25 applicant Darren Erica Trudeau.
Any discussion on it? Hearing none. I ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Passed.
I make a motion, PZC 26-04 applicant Scott and Holly Santerre authorizing the signing of the MyLars.
I'll second that one.
That was, when
26-4, Scott and Holly Santier on Elmwood Hill.
And you made the motion?
Yep, Ray second, Ray.
Any discussion? Hearing none? All in favor, say aye. 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 Opposed? Abstain? Hearing nothing? Passed. And what was the third one there, 20?
The third one is the gravel excavation on Reardon Road that you approved.
2537.
And I have a $10,000 check in the safe at the town clerk's office. Because there's a little discussion about opening a bank account for $10,000. This is really the first time I've really been this involved in it. And I went down to ask you today about it, but you were busy and then you left, which is fine. Do you have any experience?
Can you give me the circumstance?
Yeah, and the bonding of the gravel operations. I mean, does anything come through your office for bonding for anything else? How does that work for you?
And then we just have to hold that bond check in an account.
We have to hold it in an account. And so then I went up to Bill and I explained it to Bill. And Bill says that he doesn't like opening checking accounts.
Do we have another bonding account? As long as we account for that, it can be a same account, as long as we can account for those 2 separate amounts or 3 separate amounts, that's fine.
So that's part of the situation. Then the other part of the situation is I called the property owner, and I said, you have to have your bond. I said, did you get my letter? He says, yeah, I did, but I didn't open it. And I said, oh, okay, well, you need to post a $10,000 bond before, you can start that gravel operation. And, you have to file the special permit in the town clerk's office. But anyways, so then I guess he has a partner. So the guy says, okay, I'll bring it down. I forgot to say to him, cash or surety bond, check or surety bond. And he walks in so his wife walks in the next day with a check for $10,000. So I bring it up to, I called Bill and I said, what do I do with this check? You have to open an account. And he says, what do I know about it?
I think
So,
a couple meetings ago.
Yeah.
I think if you go, let's see, I think it was 2 meetings ago, Brian Santos mentioned it to have it as a surety bond.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
in the past, what happens is that you have to put the money into it goes over to the bank. It's been done in the past.
Yeah.
The town of Thompson is gonna be the first one on
Right.
top. Because we went round and round with Northeast, when, the state took the money. So Thompson first, then the people that were putting it up are the second on the list of the surety. I think that's what we need to do, to check in there. Now, I don't know if that $10,000 check that is it a personal check you said?
That's a business check.
Or business check?
So that's gonna accrue interest.
It does, yeah.
Depending on what type of account.
Yeah, that's why you want a surety bond, so it's not accruing
It has
interest.
to
You don't
be.
want surety.
Right.
You don't want a bank.
Because Brian was very Santos, Commissioner Santos,
I have the
very
minutes right here.
specific about that. That's what you want to do.
I have the minutes right here.
Staff will get it done, I'm not worried.
Well, I got my confidence,
Thank you.
but that's the problem because, because this way nobody else, like the state, Mass, Royal, whatever, cannot come in and just go in and say, okay, they owe us $20,000.
Yeah, hold it on a lien or something, yeah.
Well,
We'll deal with that tomorrow.
First things down.
all right, so do you want to approve the Mylar with the condition that the bond has to be settled, the bond issue has to be settled before the
Correct.
operation? Okay,
Correct.
that's all I need to know. Okay.
We need to,
Well, you're not signing it tonight anyways.
no. I
So
won't.
they're all here.
It's right here. We can still sign it, but we just have to make sure we have the,
Well, how you sign it if you don't have the
Yeah,
bond?
if it hasn't been done, you can't sign
yeah,
it.
that's true, that's true.
Okay,
Cannot sign it.
okay.
Just
so-
do it.
But
so I'll-
So
I'll-
do the other two. And that-
So do you want to give approval to John to sign it when the bond issue is settled?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I like
That's
that.
what you were trying to say.
Okay.
Just nothing.
Now, you want that
Not-
money in the bank before you
yeah.
sign it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
right. So like I said, if they wanna leave the business check here or whatever you wanna, give them.
It's in the safe,
They already did.
certainly not in my desk.
And we want the cash in the bank before.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
don't sign
it-
off on anything until you have.
Gives them a
money
sense of
back.
urgency to get it done correctly, so.
Oh, I think the other thing I was gonna say to it, so. Sean's partner, Shane, I think his name is, his partner calls me up and he says, I never heard of anything, me having to go down there, us having to go down there and go to the bank with the finance director. I says, call the finance director's office. I deal with this, so.
It's usually a bonding company that deals with it all. It's a
Well, I
bonding
said,
company,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
personal, it's
And-
not
and-
business.
I quickly looked through the minutes and it doesn't say,
Check and everything.
I quickly looked through the minutes and it did not say,
More about that, because you handled that a lot.
okay, I'll say it again.
Okay, all right, we got that all done, okay, let's head on to old
You didn't
business.
vote on it.
Oh, I didn't vote
You
on
had a
it,
Motion
okay.
and a second. And you voted.
Motion, I need a motion from
You already
somebody.
have a
Did
motion.
that.
We did that.
You just need to
I
vote.
need it, Jane second.
Glad you're paying attention right now. Okay, no, we don't need to discuss it, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Hearing none, passed. All right, we will get through correspondence. Go
Oh,
ahead.
we have one more thing on the,
Yeah.
Okay.
2611.
I don't have my agenda. Where's my agenda? I lost my agenda.
2611 is done,
Yeah,
Yeah,
long time ago.
right. So,
It should be moved on to old business.
we're on
Where I
old
was headed.
business. We've
Okay.
done the Mylars, now let's move to old business.
okay,
No.
old business.
If I don't speak loudly, I'm good.
41 Fort Plain Road is here.
Okay.
You got the color copy that you asked for. On the potential of having,
Yes.
auto sales on
Right here.
property and rural residential agricultural district, and you want to work this in to see what he should do. So, here's your color, you got the color copy.
So,
Okay.
Cindy, refresh my memory, was there something about, applying for a used car
Oh, yeah.
license
Okay.
or something too?
Yeah, you would give him permission to do it under,
With the condition of like obtaining a used car license?
oh, yeah, he has to go to the zoning board of appeals to get his condition of approval. Certificate of approval to have a used car dealership on that property, once you gave permission to do it.
Yeah, but we haven't voted.
Then he has to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles. But yeah, this is not the end. This is
Yes.
the
No, this
beginning.
is not.
Okay.
We have not voted.
Okay, so do you have any questions, or do you want to advise him as to what direction he should go in, or we should do it at all?
Go ahead.
We kind of set parameters around it with the Donovan Road. I would propose that we take the same approach, one or two cars at a time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, that I can appreciate what you're planning and what what that neighborhood. But I think, to go more than one or two cars, this doesn't make sense in that neighborhood. So that's my opinion. So.
I feel the same.
I'm along the same lines also. That area, 10 to 15 cars, no.
Where is he
Is that something that is acceptable to you?
So, well, my only, my only concern with it is the Donovan Road. To my understanding, he was selling onesie twosie cars out of his 2-car garage. If we're basing it on garage space, there's 2 garages up front that fit 2 cars. I have a 6-car that fit, these are on the ground. These are even before like a storage lift. So I thought Donovan Road, he was approved because he sells them out of his home and out of his garage that's attached to properties that are like stacked next to each other. So that's why he was special permitted to be able to just have what he can fit inside under an enclosure. If that was the case, I mean, I'll be more than happy to square foot my garages, but I have a 2-car garage in the front of my house. I have everything on camera now because I have everything under surveillance. And this is all one unit. There's nothing detached. Everything is all one building. So the 2-car garage that sits in front of the home, that's on my lower, what I would, excuse me, what I would say is my lower parking lot. Then in the backside of the garage, the backside of the home, which is that old, I kind of cut the house off just to kind of illustrate the property that's on the side of my house that leads, what I would say basically is the driveway that goes to the back. But my green garage, it's green now, it's not staying green. I can fit 6 cars on the ground. Then right next to that is a 1-car garage. And then I have the home that has, the 4 families. Because it's a 4-family multifamily. So if we were, I hope I'm not saying it wrong, if we were saying apples to apples, I think Donovan Road, he has a 2-car license because he keeps them inside his house. So if we were doing that, I would just ask that the commission board would just take that into consideration, look at how many spaces I have to the Donovan Road one. I have, if you don't want them outside, then I would just put them inside. But I have a 10-car garage. Right now because I love them. I have tractors and some. I have, just what my wife would call junk, the stuff that I love. But like old classic bikes. I own 4 motorcycles myself. Like I guess if that's what I'm saying, if Donovan Road set the precedence, but the precedence is unregistered vehicles under an enclosure, and we're just basing it off of garage space, I would ask the commission to just look at mine because I have 10 spots I have a 10-car garage that's in the building.
So he could fill out his application and then present a document.
Oh, I want to see a site plan. I mean, if that's gonna be if that's in fact the case, we can't tell it by this, right? I still hold firm that it's a two outside vehicles, right? Two outside vehicles with parking spaces. You don't have to, we're not gonna require, I'm not proposing a fence or, you've got you have 6 parking spaces along a neighbor's fence and yard, right? So you're not constructing any arborvitaes or hedges or anything else. 2 vehicles right there, and then come back to us with the garage. And if you can fit 10 cars in there, it's your garage. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. So Mike, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That totally changes the whole to put 15 cars outside here, that changes the whole demographics of people that have been living here for 30 years. You know what I mean? This is, it's not a business neighborhood. It's a residential neighborhood, and if you put 15 cars out there, the people around there are gonna go berserk. And there's no.
And that was just, I kind of was like basing it like, it's not gonna be heavy foot traffic area. It's not, I'm not a 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on a Saturday, closed Sundays, it's more so of, I'm not bringing cookie cutter cars that everybody needs every day to get to work and do this. Mine's more of I wish I came earlier because I would have been in Riverside Park because that's exactly what my place would look like. From 50s, 60s, 70s, no matter what the era may be, I'm more of like a niche. I'm not selling a 30,000 mile Honda CRV out of there. It would be, numbers matching 69 Camaro 4-speed 396 or just weird things like that. And in all honesty, no matter if I carried, great insurance, those cars would probably never be left outside anyways. It's so if I were being, if I remember correctly, the NL, the Neighborhood Limited Enterprise, that law is based under everything that's undercover. So not saying I'm gonna put a balloon or, like dome the property. I was just trying to keep it in a neighborhood setting, gorgeous, beautiful, greens, grasses, trees, beautiful. And you're just coming, off the beaten path to look at a car. If it's farm road motors or whatever it may be, it's just not gonna be a heavy traffic area. And it would just be everything that I love, from custom pickup trucks to, all original, cars from the 40s. So I'm just trying to figure out, because I don't want to be the guy that, okay, you give me the opportunity to sell 2 cars, have 2 cars outside, but then you're looking at, if I'm comparing to other properties, disabled vehicles, trucks that are rotting out to the ground. Like, I'm not going to have lines, I kind of mapped it out of like parking spots as best as I could, but that's my drawing. It's laughable in my house,
So-
my daughter's.
Well, if you do the permit, if you bring the permit in with the plan site and everything else, because it, like you said, this is a residential area, and we do not want to set a precedent where that's gonna happen all over in residential areas. I personally love the older cars. I used to be a street racer. So, so I understand your love for them. But, the other side, we also have to think of the rest of the community. So do the permit, bring up the site plan so that we have a better idea of what you're actually going to do and that it is mapped out for us.
Now, for me to graduate from like elementary to, like, when you say site plan, just so I'm like square footage sizes of garage spaces within, or like my exterior where I would love to have a couple more.
Now, what you have there, the details, everything that is going to be on there. So, and as specific as possible so that we can see it clearly without having to physically go there.
Okay.
Okay, so we want it as clear as possible, dimensions, everything else, so that we've got a better idea. If you have 10 garages and you have, 12 cars, 2 can be outside and the 10 can be in the garages, so more specific.
Like almost, and again, just, I'm sorry for the questions, but so if I have 10 vehicles that are there, unregistered, but obviously I have them insured, under closure, in garage doors, fine, that's 100% fine. And if I were to be granted that, then I am allowed, or it's proposed, that I could have 2 vehicles outside with like for sale signs in the windows, like if I was selling my own car.
Well, they would make that decision when.
Yeah,
okay.
when we get all that information in, we wanted, in other words, you are gonna bring this in so that we know exactly what you're gonna do, and it's clear in our minds and how it's gonna be, the sizes, everything else.
Okay.
Or you should distinguish between registered.
Yeah.
And
The other
sorry.
registered and unregistered, I would specify.
Yeah.
They'll all be unregistered.
Well, like,
They're all unregistered.
and I'm not sure how Connecticut is, I'm only accustomed to Massachusetts. I've been in Mass for 20 years with a used car license. So there's like a record book that you have to keep for vehicles that, if that's the same as Connecticut, that's kind of easy because it's like you enter them in as you purchase them.
Yes.
Who you purchase from, and then when sold, it's just a little bit more rigorous records of everything. Detailed, as opposed to like somebody selling cars off the front of their yard.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So,
I also will be going out there and taking pictures because he's talking about the garages and stuff. So, I would take.
Yeah, I mean, I know this, I know the property.
Well, it comes
Yeah.
down to is there one car unregistered, one registered, and if he's got more than that, and they're all inside the garage, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Well, I
So to
think
speak.
you're missing the point here. When he gets this, he still has to go to the ZBA.
Yes.
He still has to go to the DMV. So it doesn't make any difference how many unregistered cars,
Right.
as long as he has the DMV license.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
that's the bottom line.
I got more than another question. You said something before about doing, some repairs on these cars. what are you gonna do for oil containment and that kind of stuff? Cause I know the state, well, actually that'd be state law.
Yeah,
but-
It's, I can't, and I apologize, I don't have it off the top, but there's like a hazmat company that comes in Massachusetts. They, you store them in, some have storage containers, some are, metal 55-gallon pails. And then you just separate them. So if you have like coolant, the hazmat truck pulls in, you have to pay for disposals. Hazmat for, coolant, and then there's hazmat for like, waste oil.
I'm gonna talk about what he's talking about is he has to keep records of that because when they come in there, he has to sign paperwork of how many gallons were taken off the property and sent away to be treated. That's what he's trying to tell the board.
What I'm getting at is a 55-gallon drum that ends up with a leak. What kind of containment will be there, for not contaminating the wetlands behind your property? Because you got a lot of wetlands behind, you got a pond on your side. That's actually what I was getting at.
And I know, people say it all the time, so it's, what it's worth, but my goal isn't to do that, as I progress getting older, want a spot that I can look at all my memorabilia, go there. If I put a car up on a lift to change an oil there, honestly, I would be surprised. But just to be able to have that ability, I guess I would just have to be looked at as like a property owner, because they do the same thing. If, you're doing your oil change in your driveway, you get up fast, you fall, you kick your bucket, it's kind of the same thing. It's not going to be an ongoing, hey, I'm doing Porter Plain, all the neighbors get free oil changes, pull in and do an oil like that. It'll never be like that. It'll always just be my one vehicle I'm doing, it's never for, at the end game is profit if you ever sell them. But, I guess I would just be looking at it like if I was Joe homeowner changing my oil or changing a radiator.
What Ray's saying is that you're gonna have a 55-gallon drum and a double containment pallet that the drum sits on, so if it spills, it goes into that containment, so it doesn't go off the property or leak into the soil. That's what Ray's trying to get.
Because there is, I actually, after you left last time, I get home and I start digging, and I was looking up, even small car dealerships in the state of Connecticut have to have some kind of containment for oil if they're changing oils, they have to have containment basin, I guess you'd call it,
I think I would just have to look into it, because some of them, just like your home heating oil would have like a 250, 330-gallon tank. And then someone comes, pumps it out, sucks it out, something like that. It's kind of based like what I do now, but my big business is in Massachusetts. So they come, I get full, they come, they suck the oil out, waste coolant, they come, they haul it away, like they do all that. But if it was a catch basin or something that like I needed to like surround the new, I'm more than that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
So, get the permit, get the spec, have it all done.
With all this discussion going on and what you want to do, we normally will say this: if you want to, you would have to talk to her. But I would recommend to you is to go to the ZBA and see, because they're the only ones. See, what we're dealing here, we need the motor vehicle department, that you need to get this. You also need to have DEP come in. So you got a lot of little things coming in on this. So if you wanted to get what they call a variance, to get to bypass us.
It's not a variance, it's a certificate of approval.
Yeah, certificate of approval, thank you. You need to then go to the ZBA and they got the final say, yes or no.
If you have this, if you want this, then he'd have to go to the ZBA.
I have to check and see what we did with Donovan, whether he came to you guys first or the ZBA first.
But if we're saying 2 cars right off the bat, and he's steadfast on 15.
The ZBA is just gonna give him certificate of approval as to what you guys allow him to do and the state allows him to do. That's all they're doing. Is they're just giving a certificate of approval. But I have to see what order we went in with,
Okay.
yeah, I have to check that first. I'm sorry, I don't have that prepared for you.
No, we're dancing with this right now, okay? So let's get a hand on it. So if this is what he wants to do, and he wants to have 10 cars, and he wants to put 10 cars according to that date, and it's gonna be out of sight of mind, you're gonna have 2 cars outside, but still, you're still gonna have to go through the registry, and then you're gonna follow protocol on what they call, containment, if you're gonna change oil, or do this, or do that. And, you have that, hang on a minute there, Ms. Tara.
I just have one, and I'm sorry, I apologize if you were still saying, but, so, I don't want to be misunderstood. I was basing this second meeting off of you guys having a conversation, because I was under the understanding, the reason why I'm proposing 15 cars, I just put spots out there because the property can accommodate that. But I was told from the last meeting that the small neighborhood enterprises only allows one unregistered vehicle on the property. That's where I was, why
No,
I'm.
that's the ordinance.
That's the ordinance.
No, that's what we talked about. You can't have so many X amount of vehicles outside that are unregistered with no plates on them.
Not share your license.
Oh, okay,
You have to
yeah.
go through the process of.
Well, that's why you guys were having the meeting to like bounce certain things
I
out.
want to hear what you're.
Go ahead, Tara.
So, and I hate to be in any way discouraging here, but I think at least what this is, I don't think this flies, and I'll tell you why. There are zoning regulations about where you can have a motor vehicle dealership. It's only in 2 districts. It's in the Thompson Corridor Development District, which is Route 12 and 131 outside the downtown core. And it's the Business Development District, which is like Reardon Road and this little spot off Lowell Davis and up near headed towards
The old Johnson College area.
I think when you were talking about sort of your specialty cars, and again, they would all be undercover, maybe out of a barn or a garage, covered out of sight, out of mind. I think you can make the argument for the NLE there. It's not really a dealership. It's like a specialty something. Like we could massage it to make it work. This is now a dealership, and it's not allowed in this district. So this is where I think you would have trouble. I think this is why you're hearing some of the commissioners saying it's a residential neighborhood. It's a bit like to have, and I understand your vehicles are specialty, right? They're antiques or they're old farm equipment or whatever. I think there's no way you get this approved unless they are all undercover all the time. And there just can't be that many of them. I also personally have questions, and I do not know the rules for what a motor vehicle dealership license is, what you have to do, the containment. That's all well above the implication of the current regulation for the neighborhood limited enterprise. Now, to go back to the earlier topic, if you guys want to talk about expanding that to be more generous, that's all on you. But I would say, as currently written, this way exceeds it.
Yeah, good point. So.
Go ahead, Ray.
I'm not saying this to beat you up, friends. When you were here and we said we were gonna go over the neighborhood, limited enterprise, I thought you were actually gonna wait to come back until we actually looked at that, and then, we did what we were gonna do. I was actually kind of surprised to see that on the agenda.
No, I think it was stated, I would have to look at the minutes, but I made a note to have added on this meeting, so.
It was a long meeting and a lot of stuff got discussed, and it is totally understandable if one thing got heard that was a little different than what was meant. That happens all the time. But just based on what I see here, and I'm not a person who votes on it, but I don't think this is a neighborhood limited enterprise as currently proposed or as currently regulated. That's what I'm saying.
You can start the ball rolling, but you're gonna have to dot your I's and cross your T's, because you've got a lot that you've got to go through in order to just get to the next stage.
All right, Michael.
Yeah.
Again,
Mike Rubel, 936,
That down,
35.
that down.
33 on.
33.
Oh, you're looking like.
I owe you for a second. I got it. I'm about to follow now.
All right,
Okay, you just need a call.
I will. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for doing it. Coming back.
okay, going to number 2, amend PZC 46-08, 520 Riverside Drive.
Yeah, that was the, laundromat that you approved last month, I believe it was last month. And he changed the units, from G and H to K. He rented the G and H out to, a dance studio.
So we need a motion, or is that good?
Yeah.
Just-
So I can send them amended. Permit, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I need a motion to amend it.
I make a motion, we can amend it to unit K from
I'll second. G and H.
G and H to K.
I'll second them.
G, G and H, you said?
G and H, now
To
amended
K.
to unit K.
Okay, thank you. Ty, you second, it,
You
right?
got it, Chair.
Awesome that he's still in the place up.
Wow.
We don't need a discussion.
Yeah, okay. All right, so the next one.
No discussion, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Passed. Amend special permit approval, P and Z 15-23. Oh, that's an old one.
Yeah, that's an old one. That says, Quinn's Church off from 969, I think it is,
962.
962. So that permit, number one, was never submitted to, the town clerk's office. It was never reported. So I'm not making any decisions on that location until they come in and record that permit. And they know that I have new ownership is Vincent Austin. I asked him to please give me his business information so I can write it all down. He didn't answer me. He was supposed to come and pick up. I've had the papers on my desk for, I think, going on 2.5 weeks now, that he was supposed to record that, special permit, and nothing's happening on this. So I'm not even gonna ask you to amend this until he comes in and answers my questions. I understand, I believe he's the new owner, but I also think that from what he said to me one day when I was talking to him, that he's in partnership with this Michael, the guy who owned LICA and
Licamelli.
What, how do you pronounce it?
Licamelli.
Licamelli. I don't know if he bought it from him or he's in partnership. He's a very confusing person to talk. Can't get things straight. So I'm not doing anything on it until I get things straight.
Go ahead, Ray.
Cindy, I got a question for you. I had a guy call me and I told him to call you, wanted to start the logging up behind there for the solar channels that were supposed to go with that. Yeah. He asked me if the permit was still good. I said, I don't have nothing to do with that. So you gotta call Cindy.
Oh, yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, because we,
Has he,
he hasn't called me, no,
okay.
no. But thank you
It
for
runs with
giving
the
me
land
heads
race,
up.
so it doesn't expire.
Yeah, but I wasn't giving him nothing. I just told him he had to call
Thank
Cindy.
you.
So we're
Yeah.
just gonna let that ride
Yeah,
until you
that's
get,
right.
whatever the information you get. if it
Yeah,
comes
it will
up.
eventually be
So just-
amended to his.
It's gonna hang. It's
Yeah,
gonna stay right here.
because it was never amended to Michael's name.
Right, okay, so,
Um,
so you here,
yeah, I'm on top of it. Yeah, I just thought he was coming in before tonight's meeting, that's why I put it on the agenda.
okay,
Yeah.
next one is the $10,000 bond received for P and Z 2557 Red Road gravel operation. I think we already made it.
Yeah,
We
right,
already
right.
discussed that, so
Yeah.
next one, number 5, discussion of bylaws. Go ahead, and it's open. You want to make a motion to discuss of the bylaws? So we can get it done tonight? All we gotta do,
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting late.
all right, and all, we can postpone it, doesn't matter.
I make motion that we table this until next month.
Okay,
I second that.
Dean,
Is that your first second?
Spoke up.
New business, none.
Okay,
No, new business none. Review of the ZBA applications. Did everybody read that?
yep.
See what went down? They did something right. Thank you. Citizen comments. We didn't have anybody in there, Miss Tara.
Valerie is the only citizen left standing. She does not have her hand up.
Okay, that's done. Next one is commissioner comments. Any commissioners have anything to say? Otherwise, forever hold your peace.
I got something. We keep getting told when we're asking questions about that we can't ask questions during hearings when people come in. I did a little bit of digging, asking, finding out, I tried finding a state statute that says that we can't ask questions. And I cannot find a state statute that says that that a commissioner cannot ask a question. And it says that they want you to ask a question. And I have what I found on the internet. Hey, here we go, pass them around. I'm gonna keep one. That I questioned it 3 or 4 different ways, plus I looked through the state statutes and I could not find nothing that says that us as commissioners cannot ask questions about what's going on. And if there is a statute, because there's people saying that there's statutes, I would like to know what the statute is so I can find it and read it.
And I also did some digging too, and that we are entitled to ask questions when it concerns our community and what is best for our community. And to be shut up when I'm asking a question and told that I can't ask it is offensive, because I got elected by the people of this town and I want to do what is right for this town. I've lived here 45 years. And the only way we're going to find out whether we're doing anything right is to ask questions. And if the town lawyer comes back with a response that those questions can't be asked, show me the regs where it says I cannot ask those questions. So I'm backing Ray up on this because we are here to do a job. And in order to do the job correctly, we need to ask questions. When it concerns something coming into this community, we have the right to ask questions, what is right, and not be stifled.
Go ahead, Mr. Donahue.
Yeah, I just want to respond, and I agree to start off. I think the point of it isn't that you can't ask questions, because I want you to personally.
But we're told we can.
No, but I want to clarify it.
I know where you're going.
It's the type of questions, and I think, and I'm gonna propose this to your board, that I would be totally willing to maybe have a workshop with the attorney for an hour to almost have a Q&A section of like, what's right and what isn't, and what could put us in legal jeopardy and what couldn't. And I think if you guys would be open to it, I would love to do that, because it isn't you're right. You're both right. When you say I'm elected to ask questions and speak for the people. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, we don't want to have any questions that go down that road of being discriminatory in nature.
Well, but that's the other side of that, Nick. I take offense that I'm considered not intelligent enough.
No,
that's what I got that.
Well, I apologize.
That's
because
what I got that.
if that's how either of you took it, I apologize.
And
because that's not how it was meant.
I'm not a stupid
No, you
woman.
were not.
And I've been in politics for over 30 years.
Yep.
And I know the type of questions that can be asked and cannot be asked. I would never do anything that would put the town in jeopardy or any of the commissioners on this board. And to be shut up is wrong.
I don't think that was
And-
directed towards you personally, or either of you personally.
Well, it was that night.
Well, although you may have taken it that way, and I'm sorry you took it that
It
way.
wasn't you that said it, it
It
was
wasn't,
somebody else.
it
that
was somebody else that said it, Nick. And it was,
The letter came from my office, and I'll be very transparent that with you. And to be honest, although it was talked about questionings and what you can say, that was probably only 10% of what the letter was.
I'm smart enough to know what questions.
Not
to
saying you're
ask.
not saying you're not, really, and I just want to speak about it because I want to have a good open conversation.
Finish. Go ahead, finish.
A lot of it had to do with outside conversations. And not so much, I had received a lot of, probably 5 complaints over a 4-week time period from citizens that identified, and it doesn't matter who it was here, that identified specific members of ex parte communication that showed bias, and I thought it was questionable. So I wanted the attorney to give us legal opinion of what we can and cannot do. Respectfully, I don't think it's worth pointing out anyone. I think we have new members, we have senior members, we have members who are super comfortable with what can be done, and we have some people that maybe need to be mentored a little. And I will say that I'm not trying to be discriminatory in nature. I'm just saying that I personally received a lot of questionable complaints, and I didn't think it would be appropriate to single anyone out. And I just don't want us to be in a position as a town to be sued or individually to be sued.
So neither do I, but that night it was directed.
Well, I apologize if
No,
it
the
came
night was in session and it was directed at me.
Go ahead, Steve.
So I do have the document right here in front of me, and it is titled Best Practices and Risk Reduction Tips. This is not a legal document. It is just tips. That's all it is. It is not a regulation. It is not a stipulation. So I just wanted to really say exactly what this document is. It is not a regulation.
And if, like I said, if you're commission, I'm more than happy if, and I'm not saying, and I know you two think that it was directed to you, it honestly wasn't.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't nothing about that document.
This was a
It had nothing to
different
do-
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so with
John, I just
Robert,
wanted to finish up one statement. So I think that the key sentence here in the document says you should refrain from pursuing lines of questioning or engaging in discussions that could be construed to be discriminatory. And I think that we would do that under any circumstances. At least I hope.
yeah, and I was stopped mid-sentence when I was asking a question. And that was wrong, because I was not gonna ask a discriminatory question that would have put the town in jeopardy. And I did more digging on that particular permit, and you people know nothing about them. Absolutely nothing, but you're gonna let them in town, which is fine, but not knowing about who you're letting in is a mistake. Because once they're in, you can't get them out. And I'm not saying whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. What I'm saying is, I'm not the person to try and shut up. Period. And
I'm gonna ask a question. When was this held? When did this happen?
Russ, hang on a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, so I sent everybody a notice for this Thursday, April 30th, in the Plainfield Town Hall. Our legal firm is going to be running a seminar, public hearing procedures and conflict of interest and predetermination. This is the perfect subject for you to bring up as a seminar.
I was just gonna ask you, because I got your email
Yeah,
on that.
so I
and it's
emailed
30.
everybody, and the only one that didn't get it was one person.
Yeah, that's me, because, my email keeps getting messed up in this
Well,
stuff.
then here you can have this.
So therefore, I asked for when did this happen, and I got overspoken. So when did this take place? What meeting or what time did it take place?
The last.
Can anybody tell me?
The last meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another.
Go ahead, Ray. Let's get the.
Yeah, we keep getting brought up council. Council was asked about the referendum and they said, and voting at the town meeting, oh yes, you can vote at the town meeting. And somebody in town had to be brought up, had to say that it was, it had to go because it was over a certain amount of money. Town council doesn't know everything. And the poor guy was called a liar.
Yes.
And
And I've heard him, the same guy be called liar by staff after meetings are over. That guy's a liar, that guy's a liar, that guy brought up more stuff in town. There's people in this town that deserves, that guy deserves an apology
Yes,
from
he
people
does.
in this town.
Yes, he does.
Stuff that was put on,
Go,
I know you're in Commissioner's comments, but I neglected to put something on the agenda, and this young lady's been sitting here.
Sorry.
Oh,
And,
we had our dirty laundry.
I cheated all day, this is like.
if you would explain what you, want to do with this piece of property that you own on Thompson Road. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know it's
I'll
late.
try and be quick, I hope. But it does come under the neighborhood limited enterprises thing, which is why I was like, yes, public commentary, that would be great. My husband and I teach in Westboro, Massachusetts, and we also own an auto repair shop in Massachusetts. We are planning on downsizing and kind of slowing down the shop in the next couple of years. We want permission to be able to build a large garage on our property that is half our storage, half auto repair business, with the eventual goal of building race cars, because that's what we do on the weekends. But we don't know where to go. I did talk to Cindy a couple weeks ago, and I think I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago after I said your shoes are really cool. But I'm just not sure where to go. I don't know if we need special permit. We are residential, like the agricultural district.
Yeah, through RRAD.
Oh,
Yeah, same situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So would you recommend that I have her do a neighborhood limited enterprise application to see what it involves?
It's pretty thin information in this forum. I think that you need to come in and.
You have to speak louder.
I'm sorry, I also am tired.
Yes.
This isn't a lot of information, and we've been at this for about 3 hours. I think that you really need to write something up more comprehensively, even before the application is made, for these guys to consider whether that's the appropriate road for you to go down.
That is okay. My question with that is, where do I put that?
Okay.
Go ahead, hang on, young lady, go ahead.
I would just, to tag along to that, you kind of define two different things, race cars for pleasure
Yeah.
and
No, not for to
Business.
sell.
Yeah.
Business.
No, to builds and to like,
Business.
repair. Yeah.
Do you race them?
Yeah.
So they're your personal cars?
No, we also build stuff for other teams.
Cool.
I mean, it's almost two different.
Can I get a ride?
Two different kind
You're in the right town.
Yeah, we live 2 miles from the church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be very descriptive when you come in, not, you know.
But what we said to the other gentleman that was standing.
Oh, yeah, I took great notes on
Yes,
that. That was helpful.
that is exactly what you have to do, okay?
And I send that to the town first, and then we talk about permits.
Yeah,
Go to the CEO.
yeah, you go to her.
Cool, thanks.
Don't even go near the first one.
Sorry, it is so late.
I know, it was a permit, so thank you.
No.
Well, no,
I'm
sorry.
trying to probably buy in front of.
Huh?
All right, I got one. I want to add to my wish list of Nick's proposal to do a Q&A session with the lawyer. I think that would be a fantastic use of money, so we can clarify some of these things.
Yes.
We can get
I
our,
just don't, I really want everybody to come together, and it really
That would be
bothers me that you guys feel like that, because I don't want you to feel
We're
like
not
that.
the only ones, Nick.
I know you're
and
not.
that's
I know.
what-
that speak up.
We
I know,
are the only,
I know,
because
I
that's
know.
what we were.
But it makes me feel bad. It does.
And-
It bothers me, you feel like that.
And no, and what Ray said, the lawyer, the town lawyer was wrong on 2 issues, so.
and final,
I battle it every day, I get it. You're not the only one that's frustrated.
final point as we conclude, I think that the use of words like required
Yeah,
and mandatory
Yeah.
in email seems to be increasing.
Yeah.
And it started with 25-1. And I noticed things like this because I've been trained on it my whole life, and I lived on recorded lines since I was 21. And I see the increase of these words, and I do not like it. I almost responded to one, but I bit my tongue and I held back. But these are things that we need to talk about in this session, because these are not words that need to be addressed to the commission.
okay.
I'm glad you get emails. I didn't get any.
I'll send them to you.
Please get that.
That's the concept.
Okay, we got nothing else. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make that motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it. I'll let him take the second.
Thank you.
We'll give you.
Oh, sorry.
9:53.
Wow, just the beginning.
We said everything.
Official email.
Did we vote on adjourning?
Yes.